Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk/podcast to learn more.
The Night Owls is a surveillance unit.
Copy that.
You do not hunt down.
New series of The Night Manager.
I think Teddy has smuggled arms into Colombia.
That's your chance to be a snake in their garden.
Welcome to Colombia. You are not the one in control here.
Starring Tom Hiddleston.
Something's not right.
The Night Manager.
Why are you really here?
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
When you're cozied up on the sofa, when the drama's got you totally hooked, when you're completely engrossed in what's about to happen. Hey, did you eat all these?
Oh, sorry, didn't notice.
Go on, there's more in the kitchen. Nothing brings us together like great TV. And a TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels, plus BBC iPlayer, so you can make the most of those long dark nights. Search TV licence together.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as we get back to the bread and butter of the SPFL after the romance of the Cup and the glamour of Europe. Some big games today in the Premiership. Motherwell, Kilmarnock, Falkirk, Hibs, Aberdeen, Livy, although Dundee United St Mirren has not beat the weather. An interesting Championship card as well. Partick Thistle against Ayr amongst the pick of the bunch. And how could we forget tomorrow? Yes, Rangers against Dundee is interesting, but surely most eyes on the capital. A top of the table clash between Hearts and Celtic, and all of this against the backdrop of the January transfer window. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me this afternoon you have Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
This is not about romance. This is not about glamour. This is about needs must. Tomorrow might be the big picture at Tynecastle and at Ibrox, but today is no B-movie. Motherwell can go further up the table towards the Old Firm if they beat Kilmarnock at Fir Park, but Neil McCann's Kilmarnock really need to get away from second bottom place. Big game in North Lanarkshire and in the Grampian region where Aberdeen take on bottom club Livy. Can Livy get their first win since last August against a boring Aberdeen team? But it's all about Firhill. Our local hero, Mark Wilson.
Hero?
Jeez, 5 points adrift of St Johnstone, and Thistle have played a game more. There can be no slip-ups for them today when they take on Brunei at Firhill.
Yeah, an exciting week again. It's been brilliant so far, Gordon. Obviously, the romance of the Cup last week. European night on Thursday night with Rangers and Celtic as well. And now down to the league campaign. A lot of good games this afternoon. As Hugh quite rightly points out, all the way down the leagues, they're important games. It's got to that stage now. Obviously, we'll talk about Celtic getting a new player in for the first time in a long time. Will he play at Tynecastle tomorrow? Because that is massive against a Hearts team that are struggling with two of their big hitters out. And then you look at Rangers in form, cruising along there, got 3 signings in the building. A lot to play for.
Brilliant weekend of fixtures. Really looking forward to today. It starts today. Motherwell v Kilmarnock. All the odds look as if it's on Motherwell for an easy win, but can Neil McCann get that first win for Kilmarnock that they desperately need? But then you look at that Falkirk-Hibernian game as well. I think that's a tasty one, with Falkirk's huge result in the Cup last week and Hibs' disappointment, so it'll be interesting to see how they both react from that.
Here we are from now right through until 6 o'clock, building up to the action, taking you through it and covering the big talking points, with your chance to have your say on the phone lines a little bit later on. Until then, if you just can't hold it in, send us a tweet at Clyde SSB as we move our way through what is sure to be another dramatic day of league action in Scotland, because it always is. Let's start by going around the grounds. Motherwell against Kilmarnock is a fascinating one at Fir Park. It's watched by Fraser Wishart.
It is fascinating one. Good to be back at my old hunting ground here at Fir Park. Hugh gave it a big build up and he's absolutely right. It's an important game for both these teams for different reasons. For Kelly, a chance today with St Mirren game being postponed to close the gap to just 2 points behind St Mirren in the bottom of the table battle. But that said, the stats of course are against that happening. Kelly remarkably haven't won in 16 games since he beat St Mirren on the 4th of October, and I saw them last week against Dundee in the Cup and they looked like a team so short on confidence, so they need a victory, and they need a victory quickly. Neil McCann and Billy Dodds just in the door a couple of weeks, but they need to get things moving in a positive direction quickly, or they'll become isolated in a battle with Livy, now only 2 points behind Kelly at the bottom of the table, and that could be a battle to avoid the drop. But it won't be easy. We know Motherwell, given the plaudits, they're a Motherwell side. They've had a great season so far. Incredible, they haven't lost a goal here at Fir Park in 8 league games, and that's since early October. And given the way Motherwell play and open attacking style, it's a remarkable start. And of course they'll feel the loss at the back of Stephen Welsh, because he's been back to Celtic. He might come back to Motherwell because he played for Celtic during the week and last weekend, and so that means he can only come back to Motherwell if he's not going to stay at Celtic. So that's a positive for the Motherwell supporters, and that'll be settled in the next couple of weeks. But in this window, it's been a positive signings. Norwegian striker Eithor Bjørgolfsson has signed a 2.5-year contract with Umeå in Norway to bolster attacking options. They've got many attacking players in their team, and he's on the bench today. And Motherwell fans looking up the table, as you were discussing earlier, closing the gap, a win today on the teams above them, perhaps a European place at the end of the season. It's all rosy around Fir Park these days, so it'll be a really difficult task for Kilmarnock. An interesting 90 minutes ahead. I can't see anything other than a home win, given the whole situation of both teams. Looking at the teams for Motherwell, they made 5 changes from the game against Ross County in the Cup last weekend. Connolly, Gordon, Ross, Kutrumbis and Stamatolopoulos dropped to the bench. Ward, McGinn, Slattery, Longello and Just come back in. So it's a 4-4-2 formation, very flexible formation though, and given that 4-4-2. Callum Ward's in goals, Tom Sparrow, Stephen O'Donnell, Paul McGinn and Emmanuel Longello at the back. Elijah Just, Lucas Fadinger, Oscar Priestman and Callum Slattery across the middle, with Tawanda Maswanisi and Ibrahim Said as the 2 attacking players. Matty Connolly, Liam Gordon, Jordan McGee, Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, Eithor Bjørgolfsson, Johnny Kutrumbis, Luca Ross, Xander McAllister and Rocco McComb are the substitutes for Kilmarnock. They made 3 changes from that Dundee game. Shawning Larson Thompson dropped to the bench. David Watson is suspended. In come Greg Kilty. It was a real positive because he gives that bit of attacking flair. Liam Polworth and Tom Lowry, they go 4-4-2 as well. Kelly Ross is in goals, Lewis Mayo, Ethan Shilter-Brown, Robbie Dees and Dominic Thompson at the back across the middle. Tom Lowry, Liam Polworth, Brad Lyons and Greg Kilty, with the 2 strikers Tyrese John Jules and Marcus Dackers. Their substitutes are Eddie Beach, Zach Williams, Rory McKenzie, George Stanger, Scott Tiffany, Bruce Anderson, Michael Shawning Larson, Jack Thompson and Ben Brannan. Now the referee today at Fir Park is Nick Walsh, and VAR is back after a break for the Cup last weekend, and the VAR referee is Ryan Lee.
As a Motherwell native, Fraser, it still feels a bit weird that these run-of-the-mill Saturday 3pm league games against the clubs that are usually right round about you, similarly sized clubs, where everybody considers Motherwell to be like massive favourites. I must admit that still leaves me feeling a bit uneasy, but I guess that's just where things are at the moment.
I think that's always the case when you're a Motherwell supporter. It's always very uneasy when you're expected to win, but I think that expectation has been here for quite some time. Gordon, when you look at the run of games they've had, I think they've got 1 loss in 13 games. They've only lost 4 goals in that time as well, and I said earlier, 8 games without losing a goal here at Fir Park, and that's for a team that play really attacking football. And I think Motherwell fans, whatever happens this season at the end, have had a great season coming here to watch the style of football. And Jens Bertil Askew just plays an attacking style, and that has given the Motherwell fans a lot of entertainment no matter what the result. But the results have been great. And people are talking, are they in a title race or whatever else? I don't think so. If they were to finish 4th this season, it'd be a remarkable season, I think, for Motherwell, given where they've been the last couple of years and changes of manager and all sorts of things going on. So it's all happy here. And Kelly just have that look of a team that are going to really struggle. Last weekend at home, playing against Dundee in the Cup, offered nothing really. And I think it was disappointing for Neil McCann after the game and for supporters, but you can see the players are lacking confidence, so you really can't see anything other than a home win.
Looking forward to finding out. Fraser Wishart there at his old place of work at Fir Park, Motherwell against Kilmarnock. I really, really like the look for a number of reasons of Falkirk against Hibs. David Friel is there.
Yeah, Gordon, and Fraser says it's all happy at Fir Park. Well, it's all happy at Falkirk as well. They are flying after putting out Premiership leaders Hearts and penalties at Tynecastle in the Scottish Cup last weekend. What a season they're having, what a job John McGlynn is doing. But contrasting fortunes for Hibs last weekend. They've had a miserable week after that 1-0 defeat to Dunfermline at East End Park. John McGlynn, he's a hero here for the Falkirk fans. He arrived to a massive car park banner paying tribute to him today. It said there's only one John McGlynn. Pretty simple stuff. David Gray, he won't be getting any banners today. He's got a lot of making up to do with the Hibs support. They were furious with that cup defeat. So it's two managers coming in completely different positions. It's 5-3-6, only 5 points separate the teams. Falkirk looking to close the gap on Hibs above them. As I said, they've settled so well into the Premiership. John McGlynn admits that they've exceeded even his expectations. He's full belief and trust in this squad, and he's stuck with a core group of them, but they are doing even better than he thought. He's added some quality in the last few months, but they've got that Scottish core in their side. They play really good stuff, and as you can probably hear, they're going to have to try and keep the ball down in these conditions. It's not quite a broth against Morton last night, but it's one day and this pitch is always exposed, so it's not going to be easy for both sets of players. Not that David Gray can tolerate any excuses. As I said, that was a real setback last week. They have to bounce back this week. Many saw it as a season-ending result. I don't know about that. They can still finish 4th, maybe even push for 3rd, but they'll need to make it the best of the last few months of the season. They beat Falkirk 3-0 last month. There was a 2-2 draw here earlier this season. Hopefully we get more goals today. Falkirk have a bit of a blow. Ben Parkinson, who scored against Hearts last week, he's ruled out with injury. So's Philip Lissa, who's been so impressive at right back, but Keelan Adams is an able replacement, and Kyrell Wilson also comes in for Henry Cartwright. So Falkirk going to line up Scott Bain, Keelan Adams, Connor Allen, Liam Henderson, Leon McCann, Brad Spencer, Dylan Tate, Finn Yates, Kyrell Wilson, Calvin Miller and Barney Stewart. Subs for Falkirk are Hogarth, Nesbitt, Ross, Cartwright, Marsh, Williams, Graham, Donaldson and Nielsen. As for Hibs, David Gray's made 5 changes to his lineup. I think that tells you the story. Grant Hanley, Martin Boyle are the big ones coming back. There's also a real blow for Hibs. Josh Mulligan, so good this season, he's out for a few weeks with an ankle injury. Hibs going to line up 3-5-2, Rafa Salinger in goals, back 3 of Rocky Bashiri, Grant Hanley and Jack Iredale. Across the middle, Buchanan, Megwa, Dan Barlasa, Miguel Chayla, Jamie McGrath and Jordan Abita, with Kieran Bowie and Martin Boyle in attack. Subs for Hibs are Smith, Levitt, Ewan, Newell, Hoylett, Molotnikov, Joe McGrath and Manny. The referee at a very blustery Falkirk is Lloyd Wilson, and the VAR is Greg Aitken.
Oh, I don't know about those conditions. I know you're quite dark and sinister, Hugh Keevins.
Yeah.
You like it to be dark and wet and windy, but there's got to be a line. That doesn't sound like a day for association football.
No, Broth Morton last night was farcical, and it's a bit Morkin Mindy at Falkirk today. So, but I do think it'll be a good game under trying conditions. I think David Gray got it all wrong last week at Dunfermline, picked the wrong team, paid the price, out the cup, and now he's done the sensible thing: get Hanley back, get Boyle back.
Well, hopefully the weather doesn't wreak havoc with it. It already has in the game between Dundee United and St Mirren. That one does not go ahead, which means your final Premiership offering of the afternoon comes between Aberdeen and Livingston, and Dave Galloway is there.
Well, given the seasons both these teams have had so far, Gordon, it's fair to say nobody expects much from today's match. Aberdeen have lost 6 of their last 7 Premiership games and have failed to score in 4 of them. They sit in 8th place. Livingston, of course, propping up the rest of the table, 3 points adrift, and with just 1 win in the league all season, as we've touched upon earlier in the show, and that was way back in August against Falkirk. Hardly cause for optimism then, and the Dons' unconvincing Scottish Cup win over Wraith Rovers last weekend will have done very little to boost confidence around here. The pitch, the Pittodrie pitch, it didn't look good then, and we've had a lot of rain since. It is still raining now, so what impact might that have on this game. Incidentally, we will have a good crowd here today with all adult tickets just £10 each, with under 12s getting in for only a £5. Aberdeen, firstly, 4 changes for them. In come Canuster, Frame, Shinnie and Bilalovic. Out drop Polvara, Giamfi, Clarkson and Milanovic. So it's Meetoff in goals, Devlin, Canuster, Milne and Frame at the back. Cameron and Shinnie the sitters, then Keskinen, Armstrong and Bilalovic, with Nisbet leading the lines. New signing Olusanya, who just arrived a day or two ago. He is on the bench along with Vitols, Nielsen, Aushish, Clarkson, Milanovic, Lazetic, Jensen and Lobben. Just a couple of changes for Livingston. It's May and Lowell in for Montano and Arfield. So Prior in goals across the back. Brennett, Finlayson, McGowan and Lowell, with Susoho and Tate the sitters. Then Lewis Smith, May and McLennan, with Muirhead the focal point of the Livy Lions attack today. There are 3 recent signings on the bench for them: Fatty, Danso and Zimmerman, along with Jamie Smith, Kerr, Pittman, Bokila, Tam and Kabongolo. Your match referee here at Bitterly Cold and Wet and Windy Pittodrie is Ross Hardy, and on VAR duties it's Andrew Dallas.
Looking forward to that. No VAR duties, of course, required in the Championship. A few good games. It was that one that just about survived the wind last night, but for obvious reasons, one that really sticks out for us: Partick Thistle against Ayr. And of course there's the Celtic connection in the dugouts as well. In one dugout you've got a Celtic legend, a guy that won it all, a leader of men, and in the other you've got Scott Brown. I'm delighted to say Alison McConnell is there watching that game for us. Hi Alison.
Hi, I am indeed here at Firhill, and I have to report that conditions at the minute are fairly pleasant, as they always are in the West End of Glasgow. But yes, you're right, of course, former Celtic teammates Mark Wilson and Scott Brown go head to head at Firhill this afternoon, with Partick Thistle and Ayr gearing up for that final push across the remaining 15 Championship games. Thistle went to this one on the back of a Scottish Cup win over Montrose, but all eyes, I think, are on the league. The Jags are just 5 points off of league leader St Johnstone, albeit that Simo Valakari side, of course, have that game still in hand to play. But it's the first Championship action for Thistle since they lost to Ross County a couple of weeks back. But I think they'll go into this one encouraged by the fact they're unbeaten in the Championship here at Firhill this season so far. So these teams, they were locked in a goalless draw down at Somerset Park back at the start of December. So here's hoping there might be a bit more goalmouth action for us on show this afternoon. Scott Brown's side are boosted by the retention of Leon King. His loan deal from Rangers has been extended until the end of the season, but they're without veteran Jamie Murphy. He picked up a groin injury up at Tannadice in Scottish Cup duty last weekend against Dundee United. That trip against Jim Goodwin's side, it ended in defeat, but Scott Brown's looking to build on the positives that were evidenced, particularly in that first half display. Currently sitting in 4th place, Ayr are in the playoff mix, but they know they've got their work cut out if they want to stay there, with Dunfermline just bearing down upon them. They're 11 points behind Partick Thistle ahead of today's game as they look to take something from this meeting. So for Partick Thistle, I think there's 2 changes. Ocean Smith comes straight back in after his return from loan duty, and Luke Macbeth also comes back in. So it looks as though it may well be a back 5. Josh Clark in goal for Thistle, then Paddy Redding, Lee Ashcroft, Luke Macbeth, Daniel O'Reilly, Ben McPherson, and then Ben Stanaway and Ocean Smith in the middle, Logan Chalmers just in front of them, and then Alex Samuel and Tony Watt. On the bench, Budinakis, Logan, Martin, Turner, Crawford, Diak, Fitzpatrick, Lochray and Falconer. And for Ayr United, just that one change with the injury to Jamie Murphy as Jude Bonner comes in. So it'll be Liam Russell in goal, George Finney, Leon King, Scott McMahon, Marco Roos, Ben Dempsey, Stuart Bannigan, Kevin Holt, Jude Bonner, Mark McKenzie and Anton Dowds. On the bench, Mitchell, Dick, Want, Oakley, Main, Thomas, Summers and Simpson. And the referee here at Firhill this afternoon is Grant Irvin.
Good stuff from Alison. Looking forward to that, amongst the other games in the Championship as well. Loads to look forward to. That's you up to speed with all your team news from around our featured matches. You know the drill, but if not, we always pause for reflection on some of the week's biggest talking points. We might even look ahead to tomorrow as well when we return.
Welcome to Max Millions, the casino with winnings that are in a completely different universe. Max Millions. Make
a splash and win up to 500 free spins playing Storm to Riches. Plus dazzling daily jackpots on fluffy favourites and Big Bass Splash. Take your seat at maxmillions.com. New players only, £10 minimum deposit, terms apply, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Please play responsibly.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. The top team around the grounds, building up to the 3 o'clock kickoffs. You've already had the team news, which means time for us to speak a bit more freely about some of the topics doing the rounds. It feels like this section of the show should really become a transfer window section throughout January. David Friel, we'll start with you, because I had this fear that every Saturday for the rest of time we were going to ask when Celtic were going to get a striker. They've got one.
Yeah, they've got one. I suppose the big question, Gordon, is how ready is he to start tomorrow against Hearts? Because I think that was always the sort of deadline people had in their mind. Celtic need to get someone in for this Hearts game because they're so light in that area. They've also potentially lost Johnny Kenny to an injury too, which obviously limits options, but I'm still not convinced that Tomas Cvancara, easy for me to say, will be starting this game tomorrow. He's only played, I think his last competitive games at the start of December, he's played 45 minutes of a friendly at the start of this month for Mönchengladbach, and I think it's a big call for Martin O'Neill to put him straight in against Hearts, but he might not have any other option.
Is there a case by case basis, Cammy, depending on what that player is, the type of player he is? I think Julian Araujo hadn't played much football either and came in and came on and then kind of started the next game, but then there are loads of others that do take time to get up to speed. Is it down to the individual sometimes?
Yeah, I think it is. It certainly looks as if Celtic's hand will be forced, and he probably is going to have to play the game, but again, sometimes there's no better game to play than these big games, to come in and make your mark. And again, it's an opportunity that if he's the type of person that relishes on the pressure and wants to make an immediate impact at Celtic, there's no better time to go in and face Hearts, the league leaders, and go and get a goal for your team to win the game, to get them back in this title hunt. So listen, I think yes, a lot of it will be down to his personality, the way he goes about his business, but again, I feel like Celtic are almost forced into it because they are very, very light in that area.
Martin O'Neill is making it up as he goes along. He's got no other option. He was handed a disaster following the removal of Wilfred Nancy, and he has spoken yesterday about wishing that he had been kept on after his first spell as interim manager when he replaced Brendan Rodgers. Celtic have left Martin O'Neill with an uphill task because they employed a man who lost to Motherwell, Hearts, Dundee United and Rangers, shed 12 league points. It was an awful act of self-harm on Celtic's part. A man who was neither suited nor qualified for the job became Celtic manager and booby-trapped Celtic's season. So if Martin O'Neill is forced to go with Cvancara tomorrow, then that's just the way it is. I mean, who knows who even suggested Cvancara for Celtic, because Martin, along with Mark Fotheringham and Sean Maloney, is left with the job of recruiting players at the same time. The hierarchy, Dermot Desmond and the Celtic board, left Martin O'Neill with the mountain he is now attempting to climb.
Mark Fotheringham knows German football. We'll put 2 and 2 together there.
Yeah,
don't know what number that comes up
with 6.
Alison McConnell, the urge from the Celtic fans for Celtic to sign a striker has been ongoing for quite some time. They do now have one, but listening to what the guys are saying, I suppose Celtic are just in an imperfect situation where they are behind, that there are key personnel missing, so in many ways it's going to be an imperfect solution. It's either going to be a loan or it's going to be a guy that's not played recently. You know, Celtic's chances of going and signing a number 9 on a 4-year deal who scored 25 goals at the start of the season it's just not going to happen given where the club is at the moment.
Yeah, of course, and I think everyone would accept that. I think the frustration comes from the lack of contingency planning. I think you can go all the way back to this time, you know, last year when it became apparent that Kyogo Furuhashi wanted to leave the club, and Brendan Rodgers was saying at the time, well, he'll go once we have a replacement lined up. That replacement never materialised, and then of course you get to the summer and you lose Adam Ida too, and it doesn't look as though the structure is in place then behind the club to go and make sure that you are prepared for that. So when it gets to this point in the window and everyone and their granny has known that Celtic are shopping for a striker, I think it compounds the problems of trying to go and recruit what you're looking for. I think the real frustration comes just from the lack of organisation and the lack of foresight to prepare for these eventualities, because it's no secret to anyone that Celtic have needed to reinforce that position of the pitch.
And Fraser Wishart, it's been a funny week because needed a striker and got one. Remains to be seen how good he is. Clearly there's much more business still needing to be done, but then a result the other night in the middle of it that shows there's signs of life in this Celtic team. It felt like a couple of months ago there maybe wasn't, but that was a good result, and you just wonder what they can do between now and the end of the window, because I know Martin O'Neill raised some eyebrows, didn't he, when he said that Cvancara not just going to come in and fix everything, but that's got to be undeniably true, that the Celtic need more than just a striker, do they not?
Yeah, I think in the modern world, supporters think just getting a player in, we need to get players in for the Hearts game, is what Celtic fans have been saying. It doesn't just automatically cure things, you know. Players can come in and maybe take a bit of time to settle as well. It's almost like signing 3 strikers today and they'll beat Hearts tomorrow. It's not guaranteed. And everything at Celtic is short term as well. You had Paul Tisdale and Wilfred Nancy in charge at the beginning of December, and you're looking at it and they're planning for this window. Players that will fit into Wilfred Nancy's style, players that Paul Tisdale likes, they've gone. Martin O'Neill's back in, so everything's short term. Martin O'Neill's short term, the signings will be short term as well. It's needs must, and I don't think Celtic will be particularly looking, as you said earlier, Gordon, they're not going to get a player that's going to score a barrel of goals in great form unless they're going to pay top dollar, because clubs know that Celtic are desperate, so the price goes up as well, and clubs don't want to get rid of a striker at this time as well. So everything's short term. It'll be loans, it'll be short term signings. It's just through necessity, and I think a right centre back might be something they're looking at. Or will Stephen Welsh been terrific here at Fir Park all season? Will he step in to recover? I think he'd probably rather go back and play. Austin Trusty played well the other night, but he's left-sided as well, and I think they need another striker as well. So everything's short term. Everything's about catching Hearts and beating Rangers to the title. That's all that matters between now and the end of the season. Then they can start to look at it longer term and start to plan, but everything's just about right now immediacy, because Celtic need to get results, and very quickly.
Where are Celtic in their hunt for a centre-back, David Friel, as far as you understand? Because again, Fraser says they need one. I'm pretty sure most agree, but is that one to just come in and give an option? Because if it was based on the defensive performance on Thursday, it might be quite hard to get in that back four. But do they still need one anyway? Is there one imminent?
Yeah, I don't know about imminent, because I'm not sure anything's really imminent right now, Gordon, but Martin O'Neill wants one, and I don't think he just wants a squad player either. I think he feels with Cameron Carter-Vickers missing for the rest of the season, that is an area that Celtic need to look at, because for all Austin Trusty was outstanding, Liam Scales outstanding midweek, you know, one bad injury, one suspension, and Celtic are down to playing guys like Dane Murray. I don't think Stephen Welsh will be there at the end of the window. I think he'll probably end up back at Motherwell, so I think it is a priority area that Martin O'Neill wants to strengthen, but he's got a couple of them. He still wants a right winger, he still wants another striker. So to go back to right to the start, Celtic have made a bit of progress getting a striker in, but they've still got the bulk of their work to do, and if they don't get it done and don't get it done quickly, they're really letting Martin O'Neill down, because he has come back again to try and bail them out, and right now he's not got the tools to do the job.
Will Cvancara start tomorrow for you, Gordon Dalziel?
I think Cammy makes a good point. He'll force Celtic's hand. They'll look at him over the next couple of days, Gordon. Obviously today will be so important. They'll get a feel, they'll have a chat with the lad. Me personally, You're here for the big games, and this is the biggest game so far. And it's a difficult game. I think it gives him better options, even if he gets the old usual 65-70 minutes out of him. I would certainly start him, because adrenaline, the atmosphere tomorrow at Tynecastle's got to be electric. That will get him through. I know he's not played a lot of football, but if you're going to bring him in, you've had a couple of days now with the squad. I know they were away on European duty. They're back. He's had a couple of days with them. They'll assess how he's feeling. I would certainly play him.
I'd play him from the start, because if Celtic don't win tomorrow, the league's finished. The 9-point gap between Hearts and Celtic will not be overcome, and Rangers will take care of Dundee, and they'll leapfrog Celtic tomorrow in the event of a defeat at Tynecastle. So Tomas Cvancara, that's all, folks.
Go on.
Tomas
I've got it for you. Let's hear it again.
It's easy. Tomas Cvancara.
Easy as that.
I love that. Yeah. It's easy for him. He's a Czech Republican.
Yeah. The Dalziel, I pronounce mine, but nobody, everybody calls it
Big Tam.
I like that, Big Tam.
Pronunciation's difficult. However, the prognosis is not difficult. If Celtic lose and go 9 points behind Hearts, the league is done.
Is it?
Well, I've got to say, right, and I'm
going to put pressure on you all to stick your neck in the line here.
I'm going to, because I'm going to change my mind. I was totally in Hugh's camp about a week ago, saying, look, if Celtic went 9 points behind, it's not just Hearts have got to catch, it's Rangers, right? So I was all with you, batting them up, but now I'm going against them, because I know Hearts are bringing people in, but we don't know what they're going to do. They've lost a couple of big hitters as well. Will that affect them? I know they've got a good squad. I know they've got quality there. You look at Rangers as well. 9 points, Martin O'Neill's done it before. So I'm not too sure.
Right, so defeat tomorrow would not spell the end, as far as
he said he's not too sure. He's on the fence.
Okay, I'm not going to sit on the fence anymore. I'm going to change my mind completely and say no, it would not rule them out.
No, not for me. I think the top six plays a huge part in it.
Well, because the split looks
yes,
so
when
competitive.
the split, and again you're playing each other, the intensity of them games.
Mother will beat everybody and that sort of thing.
The pressure, I think we've never seen Hearts have that pressure on them, so how do they handle it? So yeah, I think there's still a long way to go.
I'm liking your attitude today.
Fraser Wishart, could Celtic recover? Do you think they would recover from 9 points if it went against them tomorrow?
No, I don't. It's a lot of drop points from Hearts' perspective towards the end of the season, and Celtic would also drop points. So you'd probably talk about Hearts would have to drop 15, 16 points. So no, I don't think they could recover. I think it'll be a draw. I think it's going to be very tight. I think Hearts are going to suffer badly, the players they've lost, because we're talking about Celtic all the time, but key players, Devlin and Shankland, and Beningame, three of their best players this season, are not going to play as well. So I think Hearts will actually take a draw tomorrow, and I think it'll be a very, very tight physical game, and I think it'll end up one each. So we'll be talking about this again next week.
And on we go. Alison McConnell, I think Martin O'Neill said it would be a long way back. It's a bit of a trek already, I think was the quote. Could Celtic survive a defeat tomorrow and still be in a position to win this league?
I'm not sure they could. I think if you look at the evidence that you've seen across the course of the campaign today, I don't know that there would be a compelling argument to make that in terms of a Celtic team that can cope with adversity. I think there has been a fragility about Celtic this season when they've been put under pressure and when there have been questions asked of them. I think you would have to say it's been an odd campaign with everything that's happened, the changing of managers, but I definitely think that 9 points against a team that just doesn't look as though they are about to ship that amount of points would suggest that Hearts would unravel enough for them to go and catch it. It'll be interesting. I certainly think it would be interesting to see how Hearts would handle the pressure of the run-in, because we know it intensifies the longer you go when you have a target on your back. And of course it isn't just Celtic that are chasing, Rangers are in there too. So I think in terms to answer the question of whether or not I think Celtic's title race would be over, yes, I think it would be. Whether or not the title race as a whole would be over, I think that's a different question.
You need to choose your camp wisely. David Friel, Gordon Dalziel and Cammy Bell say defeat tomorrow isn't the end of the world for Celtic. The rest fear that it would be. You can get the deciding vote.
I don't think it's the end of the world, but I think Celtic would have to win all 15 games after it. So I agree with Martin O'Neill. I don't think it's a must-win game, but it's a must-not-lose. I don't think a draw essentially is a worse result for Celtic. They'll obviously be going out for the win, but I think they would probably be happy enough with a draw just to keep it going.
By the way, it's not lost on me, David, that Celtic fans listening might be saying, well, we might win the game. Why is all the conversation built around losing it? But obviously that's where the real drama would come in. Where are Celtic heading into tomorrow? What is the balance between the boost you receive when you go away in Europe and perform like they did and get the result like they did on Thursday versus the physical toll that might have taken?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, Gordon. There's obviously going to be physical toll and fatigue, and Martin O'Neill is going to need every member of a very stretched squad as it is, but I think they get a huge lift from that. I think they've actually got a huge lift just from Martin O'Neill being back. You can tell, and you saw Callum McGregor's interview yesterday talking about the Wilfred Nancy era, if you want to call it that, and just the difference now is there for all to see. People are smiling again. It wasn't a happy place under Wilfred Nancy. It's a happy place again under Martin O'Neill. I think they took huge confidence and togetherness from the game in midweek, and I think Celtic are ready to give another big effort again tomorrow. It's not going to be easy. I do think Celtic will win the game, but I don't honestly think a draw is the worst result for Celtic.
Will become a time, Fraser Wishart, when we have to draw a line under Wilfred Nancy's 33 days in charge, but I don't think that time is quite yet, because we don't know how damaging it will be to Celtic's season in the end. And yesterday was the first time Callum McGregor's spoken in any depth about it. In the quote that sort of jumped out was that he just said it was just too much too soon. And I think anyone that's read or watched the interview, you can clearly tell what Callum McGregor on behalf of the players felt about it.
Yeah, and I think it just echoed the thoughts and the stories we all heard from within the dressing room, within Celtic coaching staff as well, that it was just too much too soon and things were just so bizarre. And Callum's not the type of guy, he's a really good pro, a good guy to turn automatically against a manager, so I was interested by just the tone of what he said. And I think we'll be talking Wilfred Nancy for a long time if Celtic don't win the league. And if Celtic lose tomorrow and then they drop out the title race and they don't win the league, then I think everything points towards Wilfred Nancy, Paul Tisdale, the board, everybody at Celtic in upper echelons as well, because that is proven to be a disastrous 3 or 4 weeks. It wasn't much more, actually, nearly 5 weeks. So we will be talking about that, but Celtic have found a way under Martin O'Neill in his first spell and this spell, without playing brilliantly, but they just get back to basics. They've just become hard to beat. They've got results, and that sometimes is the best thing to do when you're short on confidence, maybe short on results as well, and all the trauma that's off the park as well. Just get results, just win games. Danny Rule has done it at Rangers as well, but they're both going to need a bit more, I think, a bit more quality, a bit more in terms of their style of play, a bit more quality play in attacking third as well, if they're going to catch Hearts, both Rangers and Celtic. And Rangers, of course, have signed 3 players who look like they will add to the quality in their team as well, so it's going to be fascinating near the end of the season. But yes, we'll be talking about Wilfred Nancy for I think for years to come. It was just an astonishing spell in Celtic's history.
I've got the documentary to look forward to that'll inevitably come out at some point. Alison McConnell, we're about a week away, let's call it a week, just over that until the end of the window. Do you think Celtic will get the appropriate business done?
I suppose that would very much depend on what you determine as being appropriate business. I think they definitely need to bring in another couple of players. I think no question about it. I would agree with what David had said. They're very, very light across that back line. An injury to either Liam Scales or Trusty, and you're really looking at problems again. I think you would like to see them bring in a centre half, and probably I think Celtic fans would like maybe even another striker to come in just to give them options, but whether or not they go and get that remains to be seen. They've got a week left, you can hear it ticking, the pressure was building even before the window opened. You knew that there was an expectancy of what Celtic were going to do, and certainly there were all eyes on what they would do in terms of trying to bring in players, because they've been short since the last window closed. But whether or not they get what they want, or whether it becomes a rush to then bring in players just to slot in rather than bringing in players who are genuinely going to enhance that first team pool, because I think what Celtic need isn't just numbers coming in, but you also need players that just enhance the quality that is there just now.
Final word to you, Mr. Keevins.
4 games: Hearts, Motherwell, Dundee United, Rangers. 4 games lost by Wilfred Nancy. The club betrayed Martin O'Neill, the Celtic supporters and the Celtic players by hiring Wilfred Nancy. He will be, because of Celtic not winning the league.
And now it rolls on to Tynecastle tomorrow. We cannot wait, but we're going to have to, because we've got big games coming up just around the corner, and we go back around the grounds when we return.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell are all in the studio. The top team around the grounds with only 15 minutes to go until kick-off in the 3 o'clock Saturday games. Let's go back to Fir Park and take another look at Motherwell against Kilmarnock. Within the next 5 or 10 minutes, Fraser Wishart, I need you to look down, look to your left, your right, and then tell us the list of people that might or might not be there to watch Tawanda Maswanisi. Will he be a Motherwell player come the end of the window?
Yes, I think he will. I think he'll be here till the end of the season. I think he's only got 18 months left in his contract by all reports, so he won't be here next season, I would guess. But I think Motherwell in a position where they don't need to sell at the moment. They sold Lennon Miller for big money last summer, and he was in the final year of his contract as well, so I think he will be here because there's something good happening here, and if he stays, then of course it increases the chances of Motherwell being in Europe next season. So I think he will be, unless there's some outrageous offer, to 4 or 5 million, something like that, then of course you've got to take it. But he's been outstanding all season, playing a more central role quite often as well, but there's a flexibility about this Motherwell team. Give it Justin and Slattery, who start off on the kind of wider areas of a 4-man midfield, but they come inside and leave gaps for Maswanisi to run into the wider areas as well from that central role. So he's been terrific, but I think he will be, and he's obviously the danger man today for a Kilmarnock side who, saying earlier, haven't won in 16 games, 15 league games, 4 draws in 15 league games, and I think that tells its own story. So he'll be a real threat to this Kilmarnock back line. But yeah, that's your question. I think he will be here, but only till the summer.
The striker Aitor Björgolfsson, you might get a look at him for the first time off the bench. Does that tell you that Jens Bertolascu does actually believe there's more to squeeze out of this team? Because Motherwell are doing well. Maswanisi is scoring a lot of goals. In terms of recognised strikers, Callum Hendry, he's got a small injury at the moment, Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, but Maswanisi can play there. It's not like numerically they were crying out for a striker, but clearly he feels there's that marginal gain that could be taken advantage of by getting a number 9 in.
Yeah, said earlier, sell Lennon Miller, you bring in lots of money, the team's doing well on the park, so sometimes for a club like Motherwell sitting where they are, you lose Maswanisi here, you lose 2 or 3 key players and the season just peters out. But clearly the board and Jens Bertolascu have decided to invest, and they're in a position to invest in the team and make it better. I just get the impression he doesn't quite fancy Stamatolopoulos. When he starts, he comes off. He doesn't really start many games. Callum Hendry seems to start up ahead of him. You've got Ibrahim Said playing today as well, so perhaps that might be something as well in the summertime that Stamatolopoulos might move on, and Björk Gylfsson's going to come in and start games, I'm sure, pretty soon. But looking forward to seeing him. Don't know too much about him, just read a few things about him as well, but clearly the club invested in him, 2.5-year contract as well. But it's just good signs. It's just good signs for Motherwell, where they're going to probably come out the window. If they get Stephen Welsh back, then they're going to come out the window stronger than they went into, which is unusual for a team like Motherwell who usually lose players in this window.
How do you think Kilmarnock approach this one today? Because I'm sort of looking at what has brought relative success for the similarly sized teams against Motherwell, and there's not loads. There really isn't. Recently Falkirk got that 0-0 at home. They really went after Motherwell. They really tried to match them up, but also Falkirk are very good. John McGlynn's so tactically switched on. Hibs, I suppose it was a draw there, but Hibs are good, and Hibs managed to kind of go after them a little bit. Can you sit off this Motherwell team? What's the downfalls of going after them if you don't get it right? How do you think Kilmarnock will manage it today?
I think there's huge downfalls if you're not a team that's not playing well, Gordon, and you're in poor form and the confidence is low. It's very difficult to get a team to go and press. The players tend to sit off and sit deep, and that may be a way to try and cope with Motherwell, because if you press and you don't get it right, you don't win the ball, then all of a sudden, like I said before, Motherwell don't just knock it around for the sake of it. There's a purpose to the way they play. They go into midfield and then they go forward very quickly into the strikers, and then they're away. So if you press and you don't get it right, all of a sudden they're 40-50 yards out the park within a flash. So I think Kilmarnock might sit deep. I've got them down as a 4-4-2, but Tyrese John-Giles might play in a wider area, might just go 4-5-1, sit off and allow Motherwell the ball in deeper areas and see how they cope then. But for Kilmarnock, it's just about somehow getting a result. A point would be great. A victory would be huge for them, just in not only the points, but just in the scheme of the whole season. Gets them closer to St Mirren, just above them, but also just gives them confidence. But it's a difficult one for Neil McCann. How do you go and press a team that's in top form, plays good football, when your own players are very low in confidence? A very difficult approach today for Neil McCann.
And looking at injuries and how it might impact teams in the running and all that stuff, David Friel, I wonder, Hibs have got a good squad, they've got options, but the absence of Josh Mulligan.
Yeah, I think it's a real huge blow. Gordon, I think he's one of the outstanding players in the league this season. He has just become a mainstay of the team, and as you say, they've got loads of options, and you look at they've got a strong midfield today, and Chaiwa, Balassa and McGrath, but I just think Josh Mulligan gives them something a bit different. So it's a huge blow, and David Gray needs all his best players because he is under a bit of pressure. Hibs are still in 5th position, they've still got a 5-point lead over Falkirk, who are chasing them, but I think last week was a real bad one for him. I'm not saying that he's at the stage where he's under pressure for his job or anything, but his team need to show a reaction. He needs to show a reaction today, but it's not going to be easy against a very good Falkirk team. I was out seeing John McGlynn the other day. He was for the first time I think I've ever seen him, a bit flustered when he was asked about the Aberdeen links, and he was just saying, I don't want any distractions and stuff like that. But I think that's just a compliment in terms of how well he's done at Falkirk. He just exceeds all expectations. His players do as well, and he just gives young talent a chance. When you look at the starting lineup today, 10 of the 11 are Scots, and there's a lot of young boys in there as well. You look at the likes of Keelan Adams, Connor Allen, Barney Stewart, Finn Yates, Dylan Tate. It just gives him a chance. He's got the best out of guys like Calvin Miller as well. He's signed well, he's used the loan market well, but he's just done an all-round amazing job. And to be on 30 points at this stage of the season, Falkirk are effectively safe already, so everything else that happens now is a bonus, but I wouldn't bet against them at all, finishing in the top 6 and pushing for a European place.
Do you think Aberdeen should be looking at John McGlynn, David?
Yeah, I think if they wouldn't be doing their job properly. I mean, I think the sort of kind of perceived wisdom is that Aberdeen will end up with a foreign appointment, that Lutz Pfannenstiel will go down maybe the German route or anything. To me, the two obvious candidates for the job are in the Scottish Premiership, Stephen Robinson at St Mirren and John McGlynn at Falkirk. Now, I think John seems very, very settled here. He's very settled in his family life as well, but maybe deep down he thinks he does deserve another chance at a really big job. He obviously had the spells at Hearts earlier in his career, and I think he would transform Aberdeen just like he's transformed Falkirk. I also think Stephen Robinson would do a good job as well. So yeah, I think they should be looking at them. My gut feeling is they probably will go down the foreign route, but if it was me, I would go for John McGlynn or Stephen Robinson.
Speaking of Aberdeen, Dave Galloway is partly looking forward to Aberdeen against Livingston. He's partly tucking into his haggis, black pudding and peppercorn sauce and whatever else pie, because he's been sending everyone pictures of it, and partly going to give us his thoughts on the managerial search. Dave, what's the local feeling now?
Yeah, there are those up here, Gordon, that think, yeah, John McGlynn would be a really, really good appointment, and there are those who would kind of consider such an appointment to be quote-unquote not sexy enough. But you have to be realistic. It's Aberdeen, a big club by Scottish terms, and John McGlynn, you've just got to look at his record of getting players, getting teams, getting squads and improving them. I think he'd be an excellent appointment, but I too think that they may end up going down that continental route. But we'll have to just wait and see. As for today's game, Gordon, anything other than a win would surely be unthinkable for the Dons. How they could do with a lift this afternoon. As I touched on earlier, cheap tickets will mean a good crowd here, and they will demand nothing less than 3 points. Now that could work in their favour, or it could work against them, because they will be very quick to turn on their team. Such have been the frustrations this season. If Aberdeen don't get off to a really, really good start. Livingston, as we know, they can't seem to buy a win. They came very close on Tuesday night, but conceded late on against St Mirren. Can they take any positives from that? And the fact that they are unbeaten in the last 3 matches. They are, though, winless in 28 away games in the Premiership. However, to counterbalance that, the managerless Dons, they're all at sea at the moment, aren't they? With 4 league defeats in succession. That's the longest losing run in the top flight this season.
Having said that, Dave, it does show you that when you have a sporting director and a structure in place, even if you don't have a manager, you can still just go and make signings. Now, granted, they are loans, but you look at Olasanya coming in, taking his place on the bench today. I assume Liam Morrison is carrying some sort of injury at the moment. So Aberdeen have had quite a busy week for a team that don't have a manager.
Well, Aberdeen have had a busy week, but I think the best manager for Aberdeen is at Motherwell, to be honest. I don't think...
Could they get him?
He's not going there.
Well,
he's not going there.
Well, I know Dave says
it's like Gordon Dale saying his best date for him tonight's Margot Robbie. You've got to set your sights.
Dave says they're a big club, but they've won one title in 40 years, one Scottish Cup in 35 years, and one League Cup in 14 years. They're not a big club at all.
Oh, he's trying to rile
they're a myth.
the natives in Aberdeen.
No,
wow.
they're a myth.
That is the current Scottish Cup holders you're talking about. Have some respect.
One Scottish Cup trophy in 35 years, one title in 40 years, one League Cup in 14 years. They need Jens Bertel Askew to come in and transform the city. They're a boring team. I said a few weeks ago, boring team with a boring manager, and the day after I said it, they sacked Jimmy Tilleen. So I repeat, the best manager for Aberdeen is currently waiting to play Kilmarnock at Motherwell.
Well, the best manager for Aberdeen will not be going from Motherwell. He's got no disrespect. I think Aberdeen are a big club, Hugh. I think potentially. I know you're right, they're not playing particularly well. They're all over the place. Some of they are boring to watch, I've got to say, but they've got fantastic support up there. They travel in big numbers. They're Scottish Cup holders, so they're not getting the Motherwell manager, that's for sure.
Massive games up and down the country, up and down the leagues today, and they all get underway next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here. For some reason, Motherwell Kilmarnock kicked off before 3 o'clock. Somebody's obviously in a hurry. So before anything of note happens, give us your hopeless predictions, please.
I go Motherwell home win against Kilmarnock, Hibs away win against Falkirk, Aberdeen to bore Livingston to death and win 1-0, and the mighty Jags to be home winners against Ayr United.
Did you take Falkirk or Hibs? Sorry, Hugh.
Hibs away win.
Right, okay, that's down.
I'm going Motherwell home win. I'm going Falkirk Hibs draw, Aberdeen Livingston draw, and a Partick Thistle home win.
Aberdeen Livingston draw. Yeah. Okay, I think I'll go full house and I'll go Motherwell. I fancy Falkirk. I think they've been brilliant. I fancy Aberdeen slightly, and I fancy Partick Thistle and Ayr draw.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Everybody fancies Motherwell. It was Kelly who had the first opportunity. John Jules, sharp turn and shot just wide inside the first minute. Hibs have been lively early on against Falkirk, with Barlasser having the shot blocked early on there. So it's been a quick start from some of the teams trying to score that early goal. As soon as the ball hits the back of the net, you will hear all about it. Stay in touch throughout the afternoon at Clyde SSB. And then later on, I will give you the nod. You pick up the phone. You either tell us what you've made of today's football, you tell us what you think you're going to make of tomorrow's football, and anything else in between when we open those phones. But for now, let's focus on the 3 o'clock matches. The guys have given their predictions, which are almost certainly not going to come true because they never do. And in fact, I'm going to keep an eye on the pundit predictor as well. We do that on a Friday night, don't we?
What is it?
It's at £1,800. We've rolled it over every single week.
Yeah,
and
what's the games?
So they were Motherwell Kilmarnock,
Hearts
Celtic, and should be able to remember the other one. Must have been Falkirk Hibs or
Rangers Dundee.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think it was Rangers actually, because I heard it. Yeah,
sure. We need a win. We need a win, surely. No, we don't even get 2 out of 3.
Predictions aren't easy.
As I prove week in, week out. Sure.
Yeah.
What's this? You were back in one of your old stomping grounds last night.
Fantastic. Ali McLeod Lounge. The memories just kept flooding back, Gordon. Do you know, I was sitting there and I'm thinking, Ali McLeod Lounge, very successful manager for Ayr United, brilliant. They've recognised him. I love that. I really do. And I'm looking at it, had a lovely night at the Comedy Spot. It was brilliant, absolutely, comedian, brilliant. And then someone come up to me and they were talking about the old days with Bill Barr and cup finals and whatnot. And they said, look, there's a photograph of you through there as you go through to one of the boxes just at the toilets. I said, I'll have a wee look when I get through. And I thought, well, at least they've recognised me. It was one of the ones, the cartoony, right?
Caricature.
That's it. Big nose, big ears, big chin. I thought, they've got me right down to a T. Right? And it was right outside the guy's toilet.
So
that's what they think about
your
me.
Your lasting legacy for all the hard graft you gave to Ayr United is a caricature outside the gents' toilets.
Yeah, absolutely disgraceful.
Good.
Look, I take anything I get.
I actually found out that you are a bit of an influencer, if you like. You and Mark Wilson. Apparently I was in a coffee shop in Mulgai yesterday, and the lady serving me said she was a big Partick Thistle fan. She watches the show every night, and she was watching you and Mark at the Christmas quiz, and had never heard Dominic the Christmas Donkey.
No.
But since then has been listening to all our grandkids, I think she said, were listening to it all the time.
Mark sang it, didn't he?
Mark put her right in the...
I'd never heard of it either.
Alright, I'll give you the credit, never mind.
No, it was Mark. It's certainly Mark. I'd never heard of it. I'm an adult.
An adult what?
I don't listen to these sort of things.
Right, let's see if we get any early action to tell you about it. No, not really. Falkirk should have worked it better. They had a bit of a Hibs slip, didn't work out there. Calvin Miller's had a couple of shots blocked by Rocky. Another good Falkirk move. Stewart this time blocked as well. Falkirk just been great, haven't they? Just looking, I know that set up. Maybe Hibs go and win today because they're a good team as well, but just so much to like about Falkirk.
Yeah, I've got to put my hands up. I fancied Falkirk to go down this season. Thought they'd be in trouble. I went home last week. I watched them against Hearts at Tynecastle. Some of the football they play is brilliant. John McGlynn deserves every pat in the back in the world. Look, if Derek McInnes wins the league, he'll probably get manager of the month. But John surely will be in the running. There's no doubt about that. The way he's put his team together, the football they play, the journey they've been on. Who's at that game? Is it David? David was saying there, what is it, 8 or 9 out the starting 11 Scottish. He's a breath of fresh air, this guy. He deserves a big job, and I hope he gets it. Whether he wants it or not, I don't know.
A lot of young talent as well. A lot of young Scottish talent. Again, when I look at John McGlynn and think of him as a manager, I think he improves players. I really do. I think he improves players. He's good in the market, and he brings players in that he thinks will suit his system. But they're brilliant. I fancied them last week for some reason. I fancied them to go to Tynecastle and get a result. Yes, it obviously went all the way for them to have to get that result, but they were very, very good in the game. And again, I think they'll fancy their chances today being at home.
I want to know who spots the loanees as well, because that person deserves a lot of credit. I think I know he's not playing today because he's injured, but Lisa has been unbelievable. Lisa's been outstanding, hasn't he?
Brilliant player.
Kyrell Wilson as well, players like that. You know, there are so many young English players from big English clubs come up here and just don't really cut it, but they two have been fantastic.
So then again, it's touching on the manager.
Swansea are technically Welsh before MD picks me up on it.
Yeah, but again, you're touching on the manager and the environment that he creates, and again, just his coaching ability, the way that he demands his team to play. They've got a clear identity, the way that they want to play, and they can move the ball fast. They've got loads of energy as well within their team. So yeah, listen, John McGlynn's got to take a huge amount of credit.
Hugh, this is your big moment.
Go.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The Sunday Stunner is of course at Tynecastle tomorrow, and in honour of that Hearts Celtic fixture, can you tell me the last 5 Celtic players to make their Premiership debut for the club against Hearts? Straightforward. Who were the last 5 Celtic players to make their Premiership debut for the club against Hearts?
It's a very good question, but before you mull over it too much, we've got one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Aberdeen 1, Livy 0. Bilalovic from close range. It was a corner initially. He almost bundled the ball in. It doesn't necessarily win points for artistic prizes, but it is a good corner by Lyle Cameron, bundled in from Bilalovic, and Aberdeen are up and running.
You really have to fear for Livy. You know, we all make a joke about how long it's been since they won a game, the 9th of August, but you can't go on in this fashion. They're rock bottom. They were very unfortunate against St Mirren midweek, but hard luck stories are part of the deal. They must be going down.
Well, in current form, I don't think MD's going to argue against you, Hugh. We keep going back to it. And I think tomorrow or tonight at 5 o'clock we'll be able to say they've still not won a game since August the 9th. I know there's still a long way to go at Pittodrie. They're having a dreadful run, really are. Look, Davy's got a lot of credit in the bank. Let's not be kidded here for a job and everything he does at Livingston. But has any other manager in current circumstances gone as far as David has went with Livingston August the 9th, not won a league game and still been in the hot seat?
The thing about the certainty of them going down, though, Cammy, is going into the game today, Kilmarnock are 3 points better off. So I wouldn't pretend to be able to put up a case and say, no, Livy will turn this around. They're 3 points away. So, that's not a drastic situation.
No, I think they're fortunate that Kilmarnock are just as bad this season and have been really, really poor. They've made the managerial change to try and change things at the club and get a lift from that. It's not happened yet. I think it's a difficult game for Killie today, so they're probably just hanging on in there but again, can we see them getting a result? Not at this moment in time. They're conceding goals from set pieces, so that's a soft goal to give away, one that David Martindale will be absolutely raging early on in the game. You gift the opposition a goal from a set piece is really poor. So listen, it's certainly very, very grim at Livingston. And again, does he come under pressure? He's got to be under pressure, but as you say, it's a different circumstance.
It's hard to imagine, Cammy, any other person managing Livy except him. Like John McGlynn.
But you can't say that, Hugh, when you can't win games. You've got. I know what you're saying. I know David's such a big part, and I love him, and everybody does. Great character. He's done a fantastic job, but the here and now, you can't go on as a football club and just keep going, well, we wouldn't imagine anybody else managing Livingston.
He has done.
He's losing games. He's not winning. He's not winning games.
He's been relegated before with Livingston. Yeah, he's still there.
But we're now at a situation where this Livingston is a team, and he's been back because the owners have put a couple of quid in. He has not won a league game since August.
Into the Championship we go, because we have got a goal there as well.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Partick Thistle 1, Ayr United 0, and it's Logan Chalmers after 12 minutes. Mark Wilson's side striking first against his old teammate Scott Brown, and we've got a goal at Fir Park as well.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It is for the visitors. It's former Motherwell midfielder Liam Polworth, who has scored against his former team in the past. VAR is checking for offside. Neil McCann will be desperately hoping this stands, because what a shot in the arm that would be. Everybody, and I said it to Fraser Wishart, it's always weird when a team like Motherwell becomes overwhelming favourites for these games all of a sudden. But this would be a huge shot in the arm if it stands. Liam Polworth has the ball in the net. VAR will check for offside. It was a finish from around 8 yards. It will be a close decision according to Fraser, but Partick Thistle are 1 up. Gordon?
Yeah, great start for Mark. I know that he's sitting there 5 points behind the league leader St Johnstone, but he's just got to keep concentrating on his own team and getting 3 points and keep the pressure up there. I think it was Alison that touched on his record. Partick Thistle at home are a very good side. They don't lose a lot of games. Still a bit of football to come. Obviously Scott Brown's another dugout. He'll have them wound up. I think that game will be a high scoring game. There you go.
St Johnstone have got a tricky one today. They're at home to Dunfermline. Dunfermline on a high after eliminating Hibs from the Scottish Cup last weekend. So Mark has to hope that Thistle build on what they've got, get the 3 points today, and hope that his old gaffer Neil Lennon can do him a turn.
Still checking this offside at Fir Park.
Must be very, very tight.
Yeah, they're going to rule it out, aren't they?
No, it just depends. Sometimes it can be tight, there can be bodies in the way, there can be an attacking phase of play to check. Another goal in the Championship.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's a quick fire double. Partick Thistle 2, Ayr United 0. Alex Samuel after 14 minutes. There might be a phrase in there about Glasgow buses, but they didn't need to wait that long. It's the Jags who are 2 goals to the good.
I told you it'd be high scoring. Obviously they heard me. And what a start for man. 14, 15 minutes. That's it. You've got a sub on and you've got people behind the ball.
Offside given at Fir Park. It remains Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Scott Brown at Ayr United has to be careful because Dunfermline are only 3 points behind him. Ayr are in the playoff spot, but they have to be careful.
I was quite impressed with everything. You'll enjoy it down there now, Hugh.
Yeah.
I had a wee look about since obviously my day down there, but they've really put a lot of money, a lot of work into it. They've got it going brilliantly, and they're desperate. They're desperate to get into the Premier League. If they'd have stuck with me all those years ago, they probably would have been there if they had a stadium. But unfortunately, we couldn't get there.
Well, when Hugh said there, Scott Brown needs to be careful, what he means is Scott Brown needs to stay in charge for him to cash in his meet and greet that he purchased at the Cash for Kids.
Yes, and I have to I have to pay tribute to the Ayr United department looking after that. They were on to me, said they were looking forward to my visit there in April.
How good would it be if you get the red carpet rolled out in a way that he could not, going down to Somerset?
I think it's a certainty.
That would make that would ruin his year.
I'll come back and tell him all about it.
Yeah.
What if they take a picture of Hugh, take down your caricature?
I would be raging. I would be absolutely raging.
Broadcasting legend.
A guy did say to me, come over, and he says, Gordon, look, great to see you back. Did you? Why have you never been back? I went, are you kidding me? On 100th anniversary, didn't get an invite.
He's so bitter, this guy.
Never. Nobody's ever took them a cup final apart from me. What are you talking about?
Think of the amount of people you've let down over the years. That's the way I would think about it.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen 2, Livy 0. It's a great pass from Stuart Armstrong and a cool finish by Kevin Nisbet. That is a calibre of player. That sentence there could have been in a Scotland context not so long ago, but they maybe need to do it on a more consistent basis. Armstrong the provider, Nisbet the finisher, and with 16 gone, it's Aberdeen 2, Livy 0.
Terrific start from a boring team to have 2 goals in 16 minutes like that, and once again you have to look at Livy and think doomed. It just means that they'll go down automatically and Kilmarnock will be in the playoffs.
Penalty, Partick Thistle. This has been an incredible start to Saturday afternoon.
He won't be there in April, will he?
I knew we would get some drama when we returned after the Cup last week, and my goodness, talk about a quick start at Pittodrie. Partick Thistle are trying to outdo them. A penalty for the Jags with around 18 minutes gone, maybe not even that. The chance to go 3-0 up, and a goal in Falkirk as well.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 1, Hibs 0. The Bairns are flying. It's Miller with the low cross. Stewart comes in with the easy finish, and the home side have the advantage.
I tell you what, talk about players that made an impact this year, especially Falkirk. Miller has been outstanding for me. He really has. He was at Celtic as a young
Calvin
lad.
Miller,
and obviously didn't get the opportunity. Had to go to a club that he was going to get an opportunity to show his skills. He's been brilliant. Absolutely. Look, so's the team. I'm not just singling him out because there've been a lot of good players. Brad Spencer, for instance, their captain. He's been one of the best midfield players in Scottish football this season, no doubt. But they've been absolutely terrific.
Come on, forget that. Get on to the goal scorer. Remember I told you about him a few weeks ago, and now he's a Premiership goal scorer. Remember I told you, Barney Stewart, born down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
brothers was at Oxford and Cambridge. He was into rowing and tennis and all sorts.
He was in the boat race.
Falkirk signed him from university football less than 2 years ago, and now he's scoring in the Premiership. That's an unbelievable story.
Incredible story. And again, he's fitted in well. I'm right in saying he had a short loan spell.
Dunfermline.
Dunfermline, and then obviously John McGlynn's seen enough that he's got enough to bring him back in, and he's fitted straight into that team perfectly. But Calvin Miller, as you mentioned, for me is one of these players, because it didn't work out for him at Celtic. He almost fell off the radar a little bit. He went to Morton and obviously down south, I think, and he came back up. And John McGlynn's just mentioned it before. He's brought him in, he's nourished him, he's made sure he feels good in this environment, and he's thriving on it. He's a brilliant player.
I just love that story, Hugh. I remember we went through it a couple of weeks ago, and we said it was like something off of a Hollywood movie sort of thing. The family connections, all the the stuff they've done, the sporting background, to be signed from university football. This now kind of caps it off, scoring in the Premiership.
Yeah, now he's graduated. You see what I did there? To the top league.
Whoa, hold on. Don't tell me this. I've just given him the big build-up and they've been checking off. Hold on a minute. Right, they've now ruled out the Aberdeen goal. That must be the longest check in history. Either that or there's some sort of breakdown in communication. I think there genuinely might have been. I think there was a technical issue there as to why that took so long.
Are they checking the Falkirk goal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, the boat race could be suspended.
What about this Partick Thistle penalty? How long have they taken to get that over and done with?
Oh, it got saved.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, and amongst all that,
amazing.
Logan Chalmers. Mark will be hoping that doesn't come back to bite them.
Exactly. That's a killer.
Chance to go 3 up, penalty saved.
That would have finished Ayr. No way back. Lifeline for Ayr United. So, disappointed with that.
Right, let me reconvene here. Aberdeen are 1-0 up, not 2-0 up. We don't know if Falkirk are 1-0 up or not. They are. Finally. Good goal given. So that section on Barney Stewart can stay in the podcast. Great. We don't need to edit that out. That can stay in. Dackers has now had a head wide from Lowry's cross 8 yards out. Motherwell are not playing well, says Fraser Wishart.
Again, it'll be interesting to see the way they come. I think Kilmarnock will be very direct in their approach, where obviously John Jules up top and Dackers up top, two physical presences, and looking for Polworth and probably Kilty to run off them. It'll be interesting to see how that game goes, because it certainly sounds as if Kilmarnock have started very, very well.
Don't get me wrong, Gordon, there have been loads of times that you could maybe say Motherwell not quite at their best, but it has been so long. In fact, maybe genuinely not at any point in this Premiership season would you say they've played badly at any game.
The plus I think they've got at Fir Park is they know how to keep a clean sheet. I know they got a goal obviously ruled off for VAR, but look, it's still early. It's still early into the game. It's only 20 minutes into the game. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to sell. Kilmarnock have probably done their homework and try to make it very difficult for Motherwell. So still plenty of action there. But I'm delighted. Firhill for thrills, brilliant.
A missed penalty though as well.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed with that. Come back to boat race. Did you ever watch a boat race? I loved the boat race. Who did you support? I always supported Cambridge.
Just for what it's worth though, because people are Barney Stewart was not in the boat race, right? You just made that bit up.
No, but Oxford and Cambridge.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of that. I know who competes, but just him personally.
Yeah, I know. Right. Maybe I wonder who he supported. I was a Cambridge man.
Were you?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why Cambridge?
I don't know.
That's where he went.
I always watched on a Saturday, and I always supported Cambridge.
It was on a Sunday.
That's where he got his education.
It was on a Saturday.
There are times when you stand here and think, is he really talking about the boat race?
It's a boat race. I remember I got dropped. Man City against Fulham, right? Foolishly. I don't know what they were thinking. And I went out the ground and went round the corner and I sat on a bench and I watched the boat race. That's on facts. Saturday at Fulham. Craven Cottage, it comes by there.
Yeah, it does. That's what you call a talented VAR official. Andrew Dallas had just scored for Southend at Boston United. There you are.
So he has. Presumably not that one, multitasking. No. I'm sorry, I was just googling, does the boat race go past Craven Cottage?
Oh, it does, yeah.
100%.
Just double checking.
I was there, come on, a Cambridge crew. They gave me a
Why Cambridge? How did you select? Why Cambridge out of the two?
I don't know, Gordon. I really don't know.
I don't know why I even asked. As if there was going to be any logical reason.
I like to look at the Cambridge boat. That was it.
I've heard the Cambridge Cox. Inverness 0, Alloa 1. Lewis Stewart with the goal in League One there.
I'm going to call him from Somerset Park. I'm going to explain how good the food is. I'm going to explain the extent of the hospitality extended to me by the club. I'm going to tell him if there's been a photograph taken to be put up on the wall at Somerset.
Sure there will have.
I'll tell you what, you'll enjoy the Alan McLeod stand. The lounge, it's magnificent. Absolutely brilliant. Great night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Well done everybody that took part. It was brilliant.
What was it, a comedy night?
Comedy night, yeah. It was great. The people there were brilliant, I've got to say. Get along. It's a bit of laughter, bit of joy in your life.
Surely they got you up to draw the raffle or something.
I did, yeah, I did. I was sort of up there and I'm drawing the raffle. I didn't know what the prizes were.
If you had won the raffle at the Ayr United do would you have put the prize back in?
Absolutely no chance. We had this discussion at the table, right? Because let me tell you now, it was 20 large for 2 tickets, which is a lot for a raffle.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I was hoping for a full book, right? 20 quid.
Surely you're a celebrity down there. You'd need to put the prize back in.
Absolutely not. You put your money in there, you're taking it. Celebrity, don't talk to me about celebrity. I am still in a bad mood.
What I was going to say, but I don't know what the rules are on this. You know, are we to assume everyone has watched The Traitors or not? So I don't want to, just in case.
No, do it.
Because obviously it's all over social media anyway. But let's just say Gordon Dalziel is most unhappy with the outcome because he believes in being selfish at all times. I will leave it there.
I'm telling you now, if I ever meet that Stephen,
don't give it away, just in case people haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
I couldn't have it on my conscience.
Okay, but Stephen plays a big part,
and you're disappointed in his actions.
I'm very disappointed in his action. She was there for a kill. She was done. The 95 grand was in his pockets.
Okay, you've suitably given it away now. I think it is fine. I think it's fine. It's all over social media.
Everybody
Turn
knows.
off your radio if you're going to watch it tonight.
Yeah, nobody's watching it now. They've all watched it. 12 o'clock I watched it last night.
A reminder of your teaser before he says anything we regret.
We honour the big picture tomorrow, Hearts Celtic at Tynecastle, by asking you to name the last 5 Celtic players to make their Premiership debut for the club against Hearts.
It's a tough question because I know that there are some that jump out as being memorable, but other than that, I mean, right, Jamie Dock thinks Arnott Engels might be one.
No, he's not.
What about, remember this guy, Karamoko Dembele?
Well, he just hits the bar because he did make his debut, but it was out with the time frame.
This is so difficult because of that last 5, because Jamie and others and me, I have to say, would have gone for Scott Sinclair.
Again, out with the time frame. Who'll forget that Scott Sinclair goal that won the game for Brendan Rodgers at Tynecastle, but out with the time frame.
Yeah, very difficult. So not Scott Sinclair, not Karamoko Dembele. Keep your guesses coming at Clyde SB. No other goals to tell you about. We said Kilmarnock would have been buoyed by their start at Fir Park. They thought they'd scored, but that got ruled out due to offside. Aberdeen are 1 up, but well on top. Falkirk are 1 up, and Partick Thistle 2 up against Ayr in our featured championship match, but they have missed a penalty as well. Elsewhere in the championship, nothing at all. St Johnstone, Dunfermline, that looks like a good one, because obviously there's the implications at the top. Dunfermline flying high after that brilliant cup victory last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. We all know St Johnstone are going well, but as you mentioned, brilliant win for Dunfermline against Hibs last weekend in the cup. And again, Dunfermline are chasing that playoff spot, so they need to get points on the board. So it'll be important for them to try and take points off of St Johnstone today.
Here's the mischief. If Ayr United bin Bruni,
oh, for goodness sake,
before I go there, I'll take Bruni with me as my guest.
Oh, I don't think he would go. I think he'll be staying away.
What happened to take me?
You're persona non grata at United. They put a caricature of you beside the toilet.
Exactly.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Livingston. It's an equaliser. Aberdeen 1, Livy 1. You two had David Martindale sacked about 10 minutes ago. They're level. It is Mamadou Sissoko from close range, and the Livy Lions are back on level terms. It was a poor clearance, it broke to him, and he made no mistake with the finish.
I can imagine how the Aberdeen crowd are taking that, because I looked at some of their game against Wraith Rovers in the Cup, and they were awful. And they get terrific crowds. The crowds are better than the team, and that will not go down well.
I agree. I feel sorry for Aberdeen fans. They travel in such numbers, and it is long journeys down to Glasgow. You even seen that weather midweek as we get a goal at Fir Park, I'd imagine. Not too sure.
Face might have given it away in the studio. Goal Motherwell, and it is Elijah Just. It's a neat move on the edge of the box, 1-2 into his path, and he rifles it into the top corner to make it Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 0.
I can imagine the look on Neil McCann's face. Goal disallowed by VAR, and now a goal down. But Fraser had that great stat before the game started that Motherwell have lost no goals in their last 8 home matches. So VAR may have come to their aid, but the bagel is still against Kilmarnock's name, and the goal is against Motherwell's name. They might not be playing well, but they're in front.
Yeah, it's hugely disappointing from Kilmarnock's point of view. They started the game really well, had that goal disallowed, seemed to still be on top, but we all know Motherwell, once they get that goal, I'm pretty sure it'll kick-start them into gear. They're at home, and it's certainly a game before it, you looked as if that Motherwell would go and win comfortably. It's not been comfortable so far, but they've managed to get that breakthrough, and the man that scored the goal has been brilliant this season.
Well,
really good.
I said Brad Spencer at Falkirk has been outstanding. This guy has been the exact same. What a breath of fresh air this boy's been. When you look at him when we first seen him, you're thinking, I don't know if he's got the build. He should be maybe at Hamilton Racecourse this afternoon rather than Fir Park. But his ability is incredible. What a player he is.
I've got a bit of a theory on him, Cammy, because Motherwell haven't had loads of live TV games, right? So it's hard to see the full picture. That's when you see he's got goals, so that gets the headlines. Everybody notices, people start looking out for it then. Rightly so. Elliot Watts had loads of attention, people talking about Rangers. He's just so tidy. I would genuinely see if anyone's in the Lanarkshire area and is at a loose end on a Saturday afternoon, go and watch Elijah Just, because he hasn't had quite the same level of publicity as the rest. He's outstanding.
And I'm pretty sure Motherwell will be happy about that, because again,
I was going to say, if you could relax a bit between now and the end of January, that would be nice.
Slightly go under the radar, but no, again, we appreciate it because we see a lot of the football and get a lot of the reports, and he's always getting positive reports back. He's always involved in goals and important passages of play with Motherwell. He's a fantastic player. And what age is he, Gordon?
Yeah, early 20s.
Early 20s. Yep. So again, he's one of these players that Motherwell have brought in. 20.
Well, that's 25.
Right, okay. 20s. Yeah, so but he's just a joy to watch. He moves about the pitch so well. His quality on the ball is incredible. Yeah, and he's a really important player for Motherwell.
Yep, he's been outstanding, as many have been in Claret and Amber. Marvin Bartley, actually, is a big. I know he's busy today, but on the Sunday show a couple of weeks ago, said that Elijah Just was his player of the year so far in the entire league.
Oh, is that right?
Now he's obviously basing that on coming up against them, being and watching and analysing. A couple of goals to tell you about.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen 1, Livingston 2.
Manager of the month.
Marvin Bartley is not only featuring and us talking about other players in the league, but his Livy team are now in front at Pittodrie. They have turned it around. Sissoko had levelled just a couple of minutes ago. Just trying to find out who get the final touch on this one, but the important thing is that Livy now lead Aberdeen at Pittodrie.
Well, I wondered how the crowd would react to the Livy equaliser. I've every idea how they'll react to Livy going in front. This guy, Lutz Pfannenstiel, who is sporting director or whatever he is at Pittodrie, he should be thinking now about getting a permanent manager in. This is not the way a club like Aberdeen should be going on.
Looks like Robbie Muirhead has been credited with the goal just past the half-hour mark, and it is a scoreline that will be sending quite a few shocks around the place. Not that Aberdeen are brilliant this season, but as the guys have said, Livy struggling to win games. There's still a long way to go, but they are in front. A great save there from Scott Bain. It was Grant Hanley with the header and tipped over the bar. So all happening in the games up and down the country. Motherwell on the attack again, but snuffed out on this occasion, and you can pause for breath.
What a response from Livingston.
Yeah.
Again, going behind, and they're sitting bottom of the league. We were talking about it, how much pressure's on the manager, on the players as well, to deliver a result, and they've managed to turn it around. And this is a very vulnerable Aberdeen team that they're playing at this moment in time, so it's an opportunity for them. If they could manage to get 3 points today and Kilmarnock lose, what a change in atmosphere for them.
Talking about our local teams, there's a bad result brewing. East Kilbride 0, Stranraer 2. East Kilbride were hoping obviously to push towards that League 2 title. They trail the Spartans by a fair bit already. They're now 2-0 down at home to Stranraer, a team that's had a really tough week. Thought they had gone through in the Scottish Cup to get a money spinning tie at Ibrox. Their hearing hasn't taken place yet, but it kind of looks like they're not going to get that chance, and Queen's Park will take their place.
Last week we spent a lot of time discussing the financial implications of a good cup run. Now for Stranraer, Cammy, as you well know, to get Rangers at Ibrox, that would keep Stranraer going for a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when you break it down to what's actually happened, the wording of the loan for the goalkeeper that played in the game and not being classed as an emergency loan seems to be what's going to cost them. And again, it's a huge amount of money. And for these clubs, it's as you say, Hugh, money that keeps them going for 2 or 3 years. So it would be a major blow if Stranraer are chucked out of the cup.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially when they're paid out all the bonuses. They're further behind the bank payments. No, for the players as well. How disappointing that for players. You're thinking, I've got a trip to Ibrox.
I'll get you tickets, don't worry.
Exactly, their phones would have been inundated that night when they were travelling up the road. They've been excited about it. It's a bit of a shocker for them, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, but they are got something to cheer today. Stranraer, they're 2-0 up away at East Kilbride, so big goals going in everywhere up and down the leagues as well. Still nothing else in the Championship. Partick Thistle is the only place to be. Airdrieonians 0, Ross County 0, Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 0, and St Johnstone 0, Dunfermline 0. So as things stand, it feels a bit early in the afternoon for that, but Partick Thistle would gain some ground at the top of the Championship.
The dark and sinister side of me tells me I'd love to be inside Pittodrie right now. Can you imagine?
I agree.
Can you imagine what they're like up there?
I would rather just hear Dave's report at half time and full time without getting in there. No, look, you said it. I think the supporters deserve better up there.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit disappointed, and I'm not going to tell Aberdeen fans what to think because they pay their money and they travel up and down the country. But I heard Dave saying it there, and I've heard it not from a lot of Aberdeen supporters. John McGlynn appointment wouldn't be that sexy enough for Aberdeen. Right now you need a good manager.
Correct.
You need a manager that's going to take your club forward. You've been terrible lately, so
how would he fit into that? And by the way, Falkirk fans will be cursing us for having the discussion. Kilmarnock have just hit the bar with a John Jules header. How would John McGlynn fit in with the notion that is he perhaps a bit of a builder? Does he go in, and would it take a while to get his way across, or has he shown this season how adaptable he is? Because they don't always play the same way that they did in the Championship. It's not all that kind of silky football. He would just going to sign everybody for Falkirk that's what I mean. And free everybody for Aberdeen. If he doesn't get the job for another 2 weeks, he can't.
No, I think
that's what I mean. Would he be the right guy for now?
No, But again, why not? Again, you need to give John McGlynn a chance. I think what he's done with the team, I think John McGlynn, knowing the way that he goes and coaches his team, he works ever so hard during the week. It's not just, that's the way I want to play. He's working on it day in, day out and making the players better. As I said, I think he's a coach that makes players better. So I don't think it would be a negative appointment. I just think you're right in what Dave Galloway looks at. He's not that sort of sexy appointment that probably a lot of Aberdeen fans are looking for.
You also have to factor in Lutz Pfannenstiel, because he's going to have a heavy say in who the manager will be. Now, I've never met Lutz, but I never allow that to prejudice my opinion. And my opinion is, he'll say, a 64-year-old man at Falkirk, no thank you. I've got the very chap, and he'll pick somebody from abroad, and that person will be Aberdeen's next manager. But right now, that's no state for Aberdeen to be in. They should get their wheels in motion here, because they're very poor, and this is getting
They've no identity either. They've no identity as a team at this moment in time.
None at all.
Well, let's wait and see what the afternoon brings. If they go on and win this 5-2 or 6-2, everybody will feel a bit better about themselves. But they are 2-1 down at home. Falkirk are 1 up against Hibs. Keelan Adams has had a run into the box. He's then curled it wide. It's unlucky from him. Remember, Motherwell lead Kilmarnock by 1-0, but Kilmarnock probably more in it than people thought. They've hit the bar, they've had a goal ruled out, and they are causing Motherwell 1 or 2 issues. Remind us of your teaser, please, Hugh.
Yeah, the teaser is in honour of Hearts against Celtic tomorrow, and the request is to tell me the last 5 Celtic players to make their Premiership debut for the club against Hearts.
Okay, we said it was very tricky because it's the last 5's all quite recent, so everyone remembers Scott Sinclair, but unfortunately he's not even in the...
No, not there. He's in the
list.
He's in the hit the post category.
Yeah, very close. I mean, Murphy, to be fair, maybe didn't hear that bit, because he's gone Pierre Van Hooijdonk.
Oh, that's a way back.
That's a way...
That was
what year was that?
Well, Tommy Burns was the manager, I think, but It was at Hampden. It was the season that Celtic spent at Hampden, while Celtic Park was being renovated, and I remember being there. Big Pierre,
95.
Yeah, Big Pierre brought this ball out of the sky and leathered it into the net, and that was the start of a very good career for him at Celtic Park, but way out the time frame.
Yes, good player though he was not an answer to that teaser. So at Clyde SSB, keep your guesses coming in. I don't even know if we've got anyone on the podium yet, so I might need to start giving you some clues. The last 5, the furthest back, well, this distorts it a bit. 3 of them are in the same game. Okay, and that game is in July 2021, so all are from then or more recently. So you can forget the Scott Sinclairs and Karamoko Dembele's, etc. Long range from Bilalovic for Aberdeen as they try and pull level, but not happening this time. It goes wide, and if that gets to half time with Livy in front, I suspect the Red Army will let the players know
big time
on their way off the pitch.
Dave will need to put his pie down and pay attention.
Say, even Dave's haggis, neeps and tatty pie is not going to be enough to cheer him up. Good chance Motherwell. It's that man in demand, Mas Wanisi. It's a header and it goes wide. He probably should have hit the target. He's better in the air than people probably think for his stature. I think he was put under a bit of pressure from the Kilmarnock defender, and it goes wide. We've got an update from Thistle. Ocean Smith's now with a shot from the edge of the box. It goes just over. He of course was at Thistle, got recalled by St Mirren, played one of the games. Now he's gone back. I know Mark and Alex were very keen. I wonder if Alex told us everything he knew, because he was in on the show on Wednesday night and he said, yeah, we're hopeful of getting him back, and within about 12 hours it was
the minute hopeful comes in, it's a yes.
But it's all Partick Thistle according to Alison at that one.
Yeah, Thistle a good side.
Really good.
I remember I was at Jim Duffy I was talking to during a break in one of his shows, and he said that St Johnstone and Partick are the 2 best teams. He says Partick are a real good side.
Wraith Rovers have scored, so there is another goal elsewhere in the Championship. They're 1 up at home to Queen's Park. Jack Hamilton with it.
Danger of Queen's Park going bottom if that scoreline becomes a result. All depends how Ross County do.
They're at Airdrie today.
Yeah,
that's a difficult game.
2 points between them.
Difficult game.
Right, come on, only one person on the podium with all the correct answers on the teaser. So at Clyde SSB, get them into us. I told you 3 of them were from the game in July 2021, Celtic debutantes against Hearts, and obviously the other 2 even more recently than that. So come on, we're nearly there. I'll give you 5 more minutes to send us all of the correct answers.
One little clue about those 3, same game, it was also a managerial debut.
Well, there you go, in the league.
In the league.
You can't fail to pick up on that clue, surely.
I know who it is.
Right,
of course I do.
Your old teammate?
Yeah.
Old pal of yours.
Big Paul.
Literally nobody's ever called him that.
That's what we called him in the dressing room.
Big Paul.
Big Paul. All right, Paul. What are you up to tonight, Paul?
Oh my word. Anyway, right, we're in the closing stages of these first halves. It's been good. It's been a really good day. Brilliant day if you're Livy. And good day so far if you're Motherwell. Good day so far if you're Falkirk. Calvin Miller has been a brilliant addition to the top flight this season as well. He's just had a low shot pushed away. So
Hibs fans, Cammy, they'll be giving David Gray a bit of pelters.
I was just about to say that, Hugh, off the back of last week, which we discussed and said that that negative result, they've done okay this season, but again, that negative cup result can all bring it back. And again, if they weren't to win or get a result today at Falkirk, then certainly there'll be a lot of frustration.
On that,
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 2, Hibs 0.
Wow.
And the 2 players we discussed, Calvin Miller with the cutback, Mr. Boat Race himself, made up by Gordon Dalziel, Barney Stewart doubles his and Falkirk's tally, and this is turning into another very, very good afternoon for the Bairns.
And a very, very bad afternoon for Sir David Gray. He will now be on the receiving end of dogs abuse. But last week picked the wrong team, this week picked the right team, put the right guys back in, and they're still losing.
These are the pitfalls though of the Premiership this season, Cammy. Falkirk are excellent.
Yeah, they are.
So it's not that Hugh's wrong. It's a bad cup defeat last week, and then Hibs are still expected to win games, and they've got the budget and all that stuff. But teams can go to Falkirk and struggle in the game, because they've been so impressive this season.
Oh, 100%. I think what the frustration from the Hibs fans will be is that result last week, and again they'll be looking for this week that they react to it. They've obviously not in this first half. They're 2-0 down, but yeah, again, Falkirk are a really, really good side, and for me, certainly are a top 6 side, and again, it looks like they'll end up on the coattails of Hibs, because they're very, very close on the points.
Kilmarnock's afternoon has been made more difficult. It's a red card for Tom Lowry, and it's the old 2 yellows. You remember Rio Hatate the other night, so nothing can be done now. Second foul on Maswanisi. It's right in the middle of the pitch in the centre circle, so the referee obviously thought it had a reckless nature to it, because if not, might be
Neil McCann
harsh. Oh my goodness,
talk about
a double whammy.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Maswanisi gets in on the act. He's picked himself up after that foul by Tom Lowry that saw Killie go down to 10 men. Motherwell take the free kick quickly. It's directly from that, work it up, cross it in, and he volleys it into the bottom corner. Killie defence all over the place, and that has fallen apart just before the break for Neil McCann. 46 on the clock. Motherwell 2, Killie 0, Kilmarnock down to 10.
Early finish then. That's Motherwell get the point, and Kilmarnock will now need to pay attention to that game at Pittodrie, because it could happen. Kilmarnock could go bottom and Livy could go second bottom.
Neil McCann may feel hard done by the sending off and all that sort of stuff, and yes, defending when you've got a man down is difficult, Cammy, but and he's now been booked. Neil McCann is furious, but if you've just given away a free kick in the centre circle, you've had a man sent off, the half-time whistle seconds away, just be switch on from that free kick, get in there at half-time and try and just collect your thoughts.
So important, as you say, just to regroup. And again, you're looking for leaders on the pitch, just to say, we're so close to half-time, we're down to 10 men, as you say, let's not concede, give ourselves a chance in this game. And now they've taken themselves absolutely out of the game, because Kilmarnock won't score 2 goals at Motherwell.
Yeah, I think obviously with 10 men as well, and the way Motherwell play and how they dominate the ball in possession, certainly wouldn't see a comeback on the cards for Kilmarnock. So it looks like it's going to be a really disappointing afternoon for Kilmarnock, but another brilliant result. And Motherwell, the one thing they'll be doing is, as much as they want more goals, how many clean sheets at Fir Park?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Motherwell then blaze the ball over the bar and go and search for a third. That nearly got very ropey for Kilmarnock. It's ropey enough, and it's half time. Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, half time here, Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 0. Again, it started pretty well for Kilmarnock. They were excellent in the first 25 minutes or so. Had a goal chalked off, looked lively, but it took Motherwell a while to get going, and they've not been at their best for much of the half, but they are ahead through Elijah Just and Tawanda Maswanisi goals. Killie, Tom Lowry, red carded, 2 yellows just before the break. Neil McCann was also given a yellow card, so half that started well has just gone from that to a really awful situation for the Rugby Park side. 50 seconds on the clock. Therese John Jules, really sharp turning shot, 12 yards out, just inches wide. Callum Ward was static, he was beaten, he just watched the ball as it went wide of the post. Really sluggish start from Motherwell, trying as always to pass the ball. Moves are breaking down, and they got a shock in the 14th minute when Kilmarnock had the ball in the net. Liam Polworth, ex-Motherwell midfield player, turned the ball into the net from 8 yards, but VAR checked for a couple of minutes and ruled the goal out for a marginal offside. Then in 90 minutes, Tom Lowry with a cross headed just wide by Marcus Dackers, 8 yards out at the front post. I thought the big striker should have done better, and that was a ball that caused Motherwell problems. The big striker causing O'Donnell and McGinn, who are essentially fullbacks, problems in the 6-yard box. But it took until 27th minute for Motherwell to really threaten Kelarusi's goal. Left back Emmanuel Longelo was the man. He struck his shot well from 20 yards, but it was straight at Roos, who parried the ball down and grabbed it at the second attempt. But that was just a precursor to the opening goal a couple of minutes later. A good move on the left hand side. Longelo and Slattery involved. Slattery just set Elijah Just up in the box. New Zealand international, as he always does, really good control, fired the ball high into the top corner from about 12 yards. Well, now find their feet, and Slattery a yard wide for a shot from 25 yards, but then the home fans got a bit of a shock again. 36 minutes, Kiltie in swinging free kick from the left hand touchline just in front of us here in the main stand. John Jules got his head to the ball, he saw his effort hit the bar and it was cleared. Then the top scorer, Tawanda Maswanisi, he wasn't really in the game much. First sight of goal, 40th minute, Sparrow cross, header wide again. I thought he should have hit the target. The striker then tested Roos, 20 yards out, low curling shot to the left hand side, pushed away with the goalkeeper. Then it all just fell apart for for Kilmarnock in a couple of minutes. Lowry with a needless tackle in the middle of the park. Got a second yellow card for Phil Maswanisi. From that free kick, it was sent wide to Tom Sparrow, his cross, and Maswanisi, acres of space, void into the net from about 8 to 10 yards. Neil McCann picked up a yellow card for moaning to the referee, but I have to say, it looks like a long 45 minutes ahead for Kilmarnock. Motherwell not at their best, but just beginning to find their feet towards the break, and at half time they lead. Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Okay, let's go in. Oh my goodness, I was just about to do half-time whistles and we've got one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Equaliser Aberdeen, it's Kevin Nisbet again. Good game there, Aberdeen 2, Livy 2. We'll get the half-time story from Dave Galloway in just a second. Let's go into the Championship, because that was the next whistle to go. Partick Thistle against Ayr, watched by Alison McConnell.
Yeah, it's Partick Thistle 2, Ayr United 0. 2 goals coming, Logan Chalmers and Alex Samuels, and we had a fairly explosive 6-minute period here just in that opening half, but Chalmers has been saint and sinner so far. He got the Jags up and running just 12 minutes into this when he collected a lovely low pass from Paddy Redding, took a touch into the box and just rifled a low shot into the bottom corner, well past the reach of Liam Russell. The Jag support, they were still celebrating that one, and they had another goal to cheer. It was Alex Samuel this time. He glanced Luke Macbeth's cross off the inside of the post and it just trundled into the back of the net. A couple of minutes later and Thistle scorned a glorious chance just to put this game to bed. Samuels fell by Leon King. Grant Irvin pointed to the spot, only for Chalmers to hit his effort straight down the middle, with Russell sticking out his legs to deflect the ball away. George Finney tried to capitalise on a loose ball that Josh Clark claimed at the second attempt up at the other end of the pitch, but really there's been very little in the way of menace from Ayr United. There was a booking too for a frustrated Scott Brown. That was enjoyed by the Firhill support, but certainly Thistle have looked by far the more menacing of these two teams. Ocean Smith let fly with what would have been a glorious goal. It was a shot just from the edge of the box, but whether or not that penalty miss might come back to haunt Partick Thistle, we'll have to wait and see. Anton Dowds just reminded them of just how precarious a 2-0 lead can be. He had a header just wide before the break, but as it stands at the minute, it's Partick Thistle who are in firm command of this game, and it's half time here at Firhill, and it's Partick Thistle 2, Ayr United 0.
What about the Falkirk Stadium, David Friel?
Yeah, what about the Falkirk Stadium? Gordon, half time, Falkirk 2, Hibs 0, and you've just missed a standing ovation for the Falkirk players. It's fully deserved. They've been absolutely superb. Barney Stewart with his first 2 Premiership goals have them cruising. John McGlynn's side, we're running out of superlatives really. They've been outstanding. Stewart has led the line so well, but he's been backed up by every single one of his teammates. There's been a lot of good Falkirk performances this season. This must be up there with the best. They have been so good. Hibs had a couple of chances early on, Dan Barlasser and Jordan Abita, but it's been all Falkirk really for the rest of the half. Stewart has been a constant threat. Calvin Miller as well has been so good down that left hand side. They had early shots blocked. Brad Spencer and Dylan Tate, the guys we're talking about them, they've been so good as well. They've just bossed the midfield. Hibs are really missing the energy of Josh Mulligan. Falkirk always looked for most likely to open the score, and they did it in 17 minutes. Calvin Miller, he's tormented Kanai Omega down the left flank, fired over a brilliant low cross, and Big Barney, the big student, tapped in from close range. Greg Aitken's on VAR duties. He did take 2 minutes to make the offside check, but the goal was eventually given. Falkirk pushed for a second. Raphael Salinger, the Hibs goalkeeper, got away with flapping at a corner. Finn Yates couldn't capitalise. Hibs did come back into things for a spell. Grant Hanley thought he'd equalise from a set piece. He made a brilliant connection from Jordan Abita's delivery, but Scott Bean was up to it with a terrific save. Falkirk remained a threat all over the pitch. Keelan Adams was unlucky. Calvin Miller was unlucky with a low shot, but they did make it 2-0 just before the break. Another brilliant team move ended with Calvin Miller racing down the left, kept his composure, found Stewart with the cutback, and what a cool low finish. The Falkirk fans are loving it. The Hibs fans are absolutely furious. Half time, Falkirk 2, Hibs 0.
Not only is it not done yet at Pittodrie, we have another one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It is nearly 5-4 in case you hadn't noticed, but Aberdeen have scored again. It is another from Kevin Nisbet, a quick fire double at the end of the first half, and now Aberdeen have taken their turn to flip this game around. 45 plus 8 on the clock. Aberdeen 3, Livingston 2, and it is not even half time yet. I'm hoping it will be imminently, so Dave Galloway can give us the half time picture of what's been quite a frantic opening. I was going to say 45, but that does not tell the full story. In fact, what we'll do is we'll pause, we'll get Dave Galloway when we return.
Happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
What an afternoon it's been, and we're only at half-time. In our 4 featured games alone, 11 goals, 2 disallowed, 1 missed penalty and 1 red card. It has been brilliant so far. I'll recap the scores, then we'll do the teaser in just a second. But Dave Galloway first. He's been at the most action-packed of them all. Aberdeen Livy, Dave.
Yeah, and what an afternoon it has been so far, Gordon. I said I had very little hope of there being anything of note happening today. How wrong could I have been? Aberdeen 3, Livingston 2 at half-time. A really strong start by the hosts, who deservedly went ahead after 9 minutes. A very good corner indeed by Cameron over on the far side. Kanuster helped the ball on, and Bilalovic was there to bundle it home. The Dons had a second goal disallowed for offside after a VAR review. Nisbet had very coolly netted after an excellent Armstrong pass picked him out. The visitors had posed no threat at all, but equalised on 28 minutes. It was a gift. Sissoko from close range after the ball brought to him following a free kick. Really poor defending, and it happened again, would you believe, just 3 minutes later. Once more the home defence undone by a long free kick into the danger zone. They simply couldn't deal with it. McLennan's volley was saved by Mitov, but the ball went straight to Muirhead, who said thanks very much, and he put the visitors unexpectedly 2-1 ahead. The Dons looked shell-shocked for a while, but in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time it was 2-2. A perfect cross by the impressive Frame from the left hand side, and Nisbet was there at the back post. Right place, right time to tap in. And then there was still more drama. It was 3-2 in the 8th minute of added time when Nisbet finished from point-blank range after Keskinen cross. What a first half it's been. Aberdeen 3, Livingston 2.
What a day indeed. That's one of the Premiership scores so far. I'll give you the rest of them. It is Falkirk 2, Hibs 0, and Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 0 in the Championship. Airdrie 0, Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 2, Ayr United 0, Wraith Rovers 2, Queen's Park 0, and St Johnstone 0, Dunfermline 0. In League 1, East Fife 0, Queen of the South 2, Hamilton Accies 0, Cove Rangers 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Alloa Athletic 1. And in League 2, goalless, Clyde 0, Spartans 0, and Dumbarton Elgin, same story. East Kilbride 0, Stranraer 2, Edinburgh City 0, Annan 0, Forfar 0, Stirling Albion 0. A quick look at the English Premier League if you are that way inclined. There have been a few goals throughout the afternoon there that you might be interested in. A full-time result was West Ham 3, Sunderland 1 at the break. Burnley 1, Spurs 1, Fulham 0, Brighton 1, and Man City 2, Wolves 0. A bit later than normal, Hugh, but it was tricky. Tried to give people as long as possible.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 5 Celtic players to make their Premiership debut for the club against Hearts, they are Riami Sinisalo, Matt O'Reilly, and then on one afternoon, when Ange Postecoglou made his managerial debut for Celtic, Leo Abada, Kyogo Furuhashi and Karl Starfelt.
Oh dear, that was not good. Didn't mean to press that button just when Hugh Keevins was giving us the big build-up there. We have only 2 people on the podium. That is it. That is the lot. We've only got, who were they again? They were George Kirkland in second and Michael Donati there in first place. So well done. We'll have a Who Am I a bit later on when we return. There's been a sub for Killy at the break as they try and, I guess, shore things up a bit. They're 2-0 down and down to 10 men. Shoning Larson on for Polworth. Is that a long way back for your former team, Cammy Bell?
Yeah, certainly is a long way back, especially the way that Motherwell play, and we know the way that they approach the game. And second half they'll be looking for more goals. They're a big goal threat going forward, so it could be a long afternoon for Kilmarnock.
Lots of intrigue second half. 3-2 at Pittodrie for the Dons, but if Livy can come back, then the crowd, who have been on a roller coaster of emotions, will have another reason to make their feelings known. Motherwell, I think, over the line already against Kilmarnock. Falkirk, well, they're 2 up, but it's not looking good for David Gray. And at Firhill, I think Allison will see Partick Thistle go on and solidify their lead over Ayr United. But great day so far.
I don't know if my buttons are playing up. Maybe it's user error. I was trying to take a break before the second halves.
Yeah, we usually
Still
do.
not working. There we go.
As it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's very much underway around the country. Nothing huge to tell you about yet. Just teams making changes at the break to either try and get back into the game. Usually that's the case. It tends to be the team trailing, and that's exactly what Kilmarnock have done, and some others. Curtis Main on for Jude Bonner as well. So Ayr United really going for it, because they have to. Partick Thistle very much in command.
Oh
yeah, and I think another goal from Thistle sees that game out. Brownie will be looking for a big response. He may have had a few strong words in the dressing room, looking for a reaction, as will David Martindale, as will David Gray. Neil McCann, a little bit different, 11v10 against a Motherwell team that tend to dominate the ball. I don't think there's any way back for Kilmarnock, but the rest of the teams need a quick response.
I mean, obviously, sorry Hugh, I was going to say, obviously Dave Galloway's still half-time, because that game at Pittodrie is due to finish at midnight. Other than that, it's back in the second halves now.
What a week Davy Martindale's having. He's 1 up on St Mirren. There are 2 minutes to go, and then Alec Gogic scores the equaliser, and David Martindale goes off his head about VAR. Now he's been 2-1 up at Pittodrie. He's gotten the 45 regulation minutes, and by the time added on is over, he's 3-2 behind. What a week he's having.
What did you think of that one the other night? I know it's all good fun to have a moan about refs and VAR. Was that a bad enough decision to get the reaction that it got from David Martindale? I feel like I had to watch it about 5 times to even see what he was...
Yeah. I think it's just frustration from David Martindale. He'd be disappointed. It's the timing of the goal, isn't it? You know, it's a late goal, and it would have been such a big result for Livingston to get. So yes, I can see what he's pointing to. Yes, but again,
so Gogic kind of has the arm of the Livy defender. Is that the accusation?
Yeah, I think there's a little tug. Is it enough? Again, I'm unsure of that. I just think it's sheer frustration. It's where Livingston are at this moment in time. They'll look as if they're going to get a result. They get a draw and they end up, which isn't probably enough, but they were looking as if they were going to get 3 points. They didn't get over the line, and then today they're in such a good position. Not so long to go to half time to go in 2-1 up, and then all of a sudden they go in half time 3-2 down. So big team talk for him, and it'll be interesting to see how his second half goes up there.
One of the great things to observe is everybody wants a high bar for ruling out goals, don't they? People say that's the priority. Let's stop ruling out goals for the smallest thing until it's your team that concedes the goal, and then we have a different opinion on it. Motherwell are very much looking for a third, as you can imagine. Fadinger had a shot pushed away by Kilarus early on in the second half, then a flick with the outside of the boot there that's saved as well.
Well, first half sensational up and down the country. It's a day of twists and turns, and I'm just waiting to see where the next twist or turn is going to come from, because there are so many things that could happen other than at Fir Park. I think Motherwell are home and dry.
You would imagine so. Looks a long way back for Killie, but I suppose they could unsettle things. Actually, remember, not with the numerical disadvantage, but they were bang up against it at Fir Park earlier in the season, and out of nowhere a goalkeeping error, and they managed to rescue something. But yeah, it's harder with 10 men, of course. Shall we do the teaser, Hugh? Let's hope we get more success on this one. We couldn't even fill the podium in the first half.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played with Kevin Thompson, Robbie Winters and Barry Douglas. I have been managed by Gary Caldwell, and I have played for 8 different clubs in my career. Who am I? Played with Kevin Thompson, Robbie Winters and Barry Douglas, managed by Gary Caldwell, and I have played for 8 different clubs in my career.
Good question. At Clyde SSB, it is a race, so get that name down on one tweet and send it over to us. Of course, you're more than welcome to just guess as many as you can until your heart's content. Clearly a man who's been about Scottish football Wonder if Gordon Dalziel will get it. He always prides himself on getting these quite quickly.
No, I'm struggling.
Do you know the worst thing about this? I know the answer, but even in my head I'm trying to piece it together. There's one clue in particular that I can't quite make match up. But there you go. That's the beauty of it. Keep your guesses coming at Clyde SSB.
The goals have dried up for the first time.
Early. They're just settling down after a cup of tea.
I've got it now. There we go.
You got it?
I've got it. Barney Stewart has had a good day. He's been involved in everything, but maybe too much. He's now getting treatment again. He's had a couple of rough knocks, the Falkirk striker, but remember they are 2-0 up at home to Hibs. We're now finally underway at Pittodrie. It's been raining heavily all afternoon, though, says Dave Galloway. It's not brilliant conditions.
He'll get soaked running for a bus, won't he?
Well, I'll tell you, if it's not brilliant conditions, it's some match. 5 goals.
Yeah, you can't ask for better than that in the first half.
No.
Does Dave Galloway, does Stephen Robinson maybe not mind too much at that trip to Tannadice being off? You know, I just wonder, he's been talking about being a bit short. They have done some business this week. I wonder if it just allows him to get a bit of time to gather his thoughts. You can gather yours whilst I tell you about this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 3, Kilmarnock 0. It was always going to be tricky for Kilmarnock in this second half, down to 10 men, and they've lasted only 11 minutes. Ibrahim Said, it's a move down the left, crossed into the box. Kelly can't clear their lines. Said's very strong, and he manages to just finish from close range to make it Motherwell 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Well, that removes all shadow of doubt. The day is over for Kilmarnock. For Neil McCann and Billy Dodds, I cannot see anything other than either automatic relegation or the playoffs.
Yeah, it's very grim at the moment. They're conceding far too many goals. Listen, I know that the red card plays a huge part in the way the games went, but it's going to be interesting because the Kilmarnock fans won't be happy. I don't think a lot of the fans were too convinced when Neil McCann was announced as manager, and he's certainly got an uphill battle to win them over because it's not started well for them since they've came in.
The problem, Gordon, I'm not trying to keep all aboard this constant praise of Motherwell, but just in terms of the way they go about things, it is your worst nightmare in this scenario, because obviously when you're down to 10 men, you're 3-0 down, you can just go into self-preservation, damage limitation, whatever the phrase is, you can just sit back normally, but that doesn't necessarily work against this Motherwell team at times.
No,
and this could get ugly if they're not careful.
Yeah, damage limitation for Kilmarnock's got to be, especially when you concede the third so early. The Kilmarnock players will be deflated. They'll just be wanting the final whistle to go as quick as it possibly can. Motherwell, in the other sense, will be enjoying their football, enjoying their afternoon, getting the ball, getting touches, looking to get balls in the box, looking to score more goals. It could get pretty ugly for Kilmarnock if they're not very careful indeed. But they've got Aberdeen, Rangers next 2 games. They're bang in trouble, as we all know. So only for the fact that Livingston are so poor and can't win a game, they're helping them a little bit, because Kilmarnock, if Livingston went in that league, I would fancy Kilmarnock to get relegated.
What's the mentality like? You're 3 up, you're playing 10 men. Do you subconsciously take the foot off the pedal?
No, you want more goals. You really want to stamp your authority. Well, when I played in teams, we always looked at 3-0 up, you're enjoying your football, it's a good afternoon, you're comfortable, you're confident, there's no pressure on you, go and play your best stuff.
Can happen though, as Hugh says, sometimes it's inevitable.
Yeah, but I just think because of the way this manager handles his squad, everybody's got a point to prove.
Well, that's the thing, Cammy, with half an hour left, do you turn round to Aitor Björgolfsson, your new striker, who you've got high hopes for, and bring him on? I'm sure Apostolos Stamatolopoulos is chomping at the bit. There are other players there that will want to come on and get a piece of this.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he will. Again, he
is coming on.
Yeah, so I totally agree with Daz. I think they're at home, they'll be enjoying this. They enjoy the style of football they've been playing under the manager all season, and this is an opportunity where there's absolutely no pressure. They can go and play fast flowing football, create chances, score goals. So listen, I really do fear for Kilmarnock. This could end up really ugly.
Yeah, very much in a sort of possession drill for Motherwell at the moment. That can happen when it's 11v11, but particularly with the 10 and that 3-goal cushion. Johnny Katrumbis is coming on as well, more in the fullback area, but he's also been excellent at times when he's been called upon, so he'll enter probably for maybe Longello, or he can actually play both sides, Katrumbis, so we'll see what happens. Motherwell fans, I think, will be excited at getting a look at Aitor Bjorgolfsson as well. Good name that as well for you. Get golf in the middle of it. Your other love.
Yeah,
so,
I'm listen.
You had the sticks back out yet? Is the weather?
I was out yesterday. I'm out tomorrow.
So really back into the pardon the pun swing of things.
I am right in the swing of things now. So
it's going to be a big year for you. I mean, you couldn't possibly play golf more this year than you did in previous years.
Yeah. I'm going to try and up my game a little bit.
Right.
Get that handicap right down. So
you got a figure in mind?
Probably 6.
Right. Currently
8.
Doable for a man of your capabilities.
Well, I've got to play. I was like everything else. That's why I told the managers I've got to play. If you don't play me, I'm rubbish.
Why don't you aim for your age?
63.
That's
64 in March, if anybody wants to send my card. What, a 64 scratch?
No, 6.4.
Or 6.4.
Aim for your age.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I could do that.
I mean,
I've been 6 point before.
Decades ago, though.
2 years ago.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
I doubted you. Alan Troughton's been sent off, still going at the age of, he's about 64, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But he still offers an awful lot to his 5, however, sent off today. Aitor Bjorgolfsson has indeed come on. Scott Bain's now saved from Kieran Bowie, who didn't quite catch it right and has been quiet today. Hibs fans may be hoping he's doing it deliberately towards the end of the window, but on a more serious note, they could be doing with him contributing a bit more, couldn't they?
I honestly think he's overrated. I mean, the talk of £6 million for me is laughable. I don't think he's worth anything like that.
Oh, you wouldn't pay £6 million.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think he's at that level yet. I think he's a good player. He scores goals, but £6 million's a lot of money. A lot of money in Scottish football.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs have scored. I was just waiting on it being Kieran Bowie. It is not. It is Rocky Bashiri, and game on at Falkirk. The Bairns were 2-0 up at the interval, playing ever so well. That's a great time to score for Hibs, just on the hour mark. Obita corner, a Rocky header, and it's Falkirk 2, Hibs 1. Oh, and a big goal at the top of the championship. Not only is Neil Lennon celebrating it, so might Mark Wilson be. St Johnstone 0, Dunfermline 1, Robbie Fraser on 50 minutes.
One man who won't be celebrating it is Scott Brown. He's currently getting thumped at Firhill, and as things stand, Dunfermline would go on to 29 points.
However, it's all happening.
Goal flashes
the main man.
Green Pharmacy.
Game on at Firhill as well. Partick Thistle 2, Ayr 1. The main man, as Gordon Dalziel said, Curtis Main on the hour mark, and all of a sudden things are getting a bit ropey all over the place in the championship. It had been coming in the second half. Curtis Main scores. It's still a good scenario for Thistle because St Johnstone are losing, but they now need to make sure they hold up their side of the bargain. Their advantage has been halved.
I said day of twists and turns. We've got more twists and turns than the Silverstone racing circuit here.
Mark Wilson loves going to Silverstone as well. Very appropriate.
He does, doesn't he?
But that's what you want if you're Scott Brown. You try and stay away from 2-0 being a dangerous scoreline and all that stuff, but you know you can kind of throw everything at it, and if you are the team that gets the next goal, you go and put a big physical handful of a striker on at half time, and it's worked.
I think it's the reaction that Scott Brown would have been looking for. Again, there would have been strong words had at half time. Sounded as if Ayr were second best all over the pitch in that first half, and he's got that reaction. These guys still his team a right good chance, because again, scoring that goal at this time, it gives them a chance to go on and potentially still win the game, because there's 30 minutes odd left in it. So yep, a long way to play.
I told you there'd be goals there. Goals written all over it. Probably should have been more if Mark had his way with the penalty kick taker. But yeah, good response from Scott Brown's Ayr United. Game on, as we say in this trade.
All the games at Firhill this season have seemed to be that way.
Yep.
Always. I mean, Thistle had a last minute finish with Tony Watt, and the drama For hill for thrills, as they say.
Yeah, Finney with the initial header, he then just lashed it in from close range, Curtis Main, and that shakes things up. But St Johnstone are losing, so Partick Thistle fans, I'm sure, will be buoyed by that news. Remind us of your teaser if you can, Hugh.
I have played with Kevin Thompson, Robbie Winters and Barry Douglas. I have been managed by Gary Caldwell, and I've played for 8 different clubs in my career. Who am I?
Okay, it's a good question, that. Even Gordon Dale doesn't have it yet.
No.
I'm worried about him here. I don't think he's going to get it today, but loads of good guesses coming in. Let's do some wrong ones. Stuart Ibbotson thinks it's Scott McDonald.
No.
Jamie Dock thinks it is Tony Watt.
Well, I understand why you'd think that with the 8 different clubs, but
9, did they not?
Yeah, but it's not Tony.
Joseph thinks it's Paul Caddis.
I think again.
Jinky thinks it's Danny Galbraith.
And it's not.
Good answers coming in. Well, I say good, I mean wrong, but good wrong ones, if that makes any sense at all. Right, keep your thoughts coming in there at Clyde SSB. We're keeping an eye on these 3 o'clock kickoffs, but of course mine's wandering, I'm sure, on the show later on to tomorrow. So when we open those phone lines, definitely want to hear your thoughts on all things Hearts against Celtic. Just general bravado and predictions to starting lineup suggestions. Does Cvancara play? What do you think the physical toll of Thursday night for Celtic will be? What do you think the outcomes are if they can't get that victory tomorrow? If Hearts were to win, is that the end of Celtic as a title push or not? So much to consider when we open those phones a bit later. Wraith Rovers are having a good day. They're now 3-0 up on Queen's Park. Jack Hamilton with the goal.
But it's the Ross County result that's important now.
Is that still 0-0?
Yeah, the 2 points between Queen's Park and Ross County. So if the County did get a win today, poor old Jim Duffy and Queen's Park be bottom of the league, and Ross County would finally get off the bottom for the first time this season.
It certainly keeps Wraith Rovers in the hunt for that playoff spot. When you're looking at the table, you've got Ayr United and Dunfermline, Wraith Rovers all kind of fighting over that sort of playoff spot, and then there's the gap, and you've got the top 3 Arbroath, Partick Thistle and St Johnstone. So big result for them today.
The game's just been played around Kilmarnock's box. Bruce Anderson's come on for Dackers. Paul McGinn's gone close with a header. So Motherwell looking to make it 4. Killie looking to survive. Clyde 1, Spartans 0. Jordan Tapping. That's a big result. That's going to really bunch things up at the top of League 2, because remember, East Kilbride were losing 2-0 at home to Stranraer, and Spartans now losing as well, and Clyde tucked in not too far behind. So keep an eye on the title race there in League 2. In the meantime, it's quieting down ever so slightly at Pittodrie. It was always going to be hard to match the drama of the first half, I suppose.
Yeah. But what you have to avoid is the sting in the tail. You know, a 3-3 draw, if Livy could get another goal, wouldn't look good.
Have Livy got that in them?
Yeah, I think they have. They showed that scoring 2 up there, so why not get the 3rd? But the one thing I think they've got in them, which is negative, is they can certainly give it away at the other end. I think they can give up goals, and as we've seen today, 3 goals away from home to Aberdeen, lost a late goal against St Mirren. They can give you goals, so I wouldn't be surprised if Aberdeen added to their tally.
Clyde have doubled their advantage quite quickly. Robbie Leach has scored to make it Clyde 2, Spartans 0. So like we said, that really does bunch things up at the top of League 2. We spoke about the Championship maybe having some title altering results today. Of course we're going to talk about what it might mean at the top of the Premiership tomorrow. So it's far too early to be talking about the business end, but it's maybe the pre-business end. I thought it was pre-business end, we'll call it.
I thought it was very interesting what Martin O'Neill had to say yesterday about having to cut short interim spell number 1, and then coming back and finding that the guy that Celtic brought in was an unmitigated disaster. He said he would have liked to have stayed on in an unbroken run. I wonder why Dermot Desmond didn't agree to that.
They wanted to appoint a long-term man. Like, we all know now it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't the right idea, but they needed a new manager. Well, so when would Martin O'Neill have stayed on until
the end of the season? That's what the callers of this programme wanted that to happen.
They obviously believed in the manager, or certainly whoever brought him into the club believed in Wilfred, that he was going to come in and do a job. And listen, there's no getting away from it. It was an absolute disaster. But
So-
they must have believed that he was a man to take them forward.
And yet their belief was destroyed completely in 33 days.
Yeah, but in that moment, though, you're trying to build for the future, aren't you? We've clearly got it wrong, but that was maybe down to the guy rather than the idea, no?
Yeah, it was certainly down to the guy. I know what they're saying, but you can't guarantee anything. Look, Martin O'Neill's a far better manager, we know that, but can't guarantee anything. But let's not get... I know he was a disaster, he was, of course he was, and his results showed that. Celtic win tomorrow, they're 3 points off top. So as much as it was a disaster,
Thanks to Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, I was going to say.
yeah, but it's not the fact that they're still in the title race if they win tomorrow and 3 points off. It's not like the guy come in for 33 games, never won a game, and put them 15 points behind.
No, but that's because he didn't get the time to. To be fair, there might become a time in this season where you just start. I mean, what did he cost? 12 points?
Yeah.
I appreciate this is complete fantasy, complete hypothetical. Imagine he'd only dropped 6 points, which would still be bad by Celtic standards. But look at where they would be. So it was so bad that it's been damaging.
But in my eyes, that Martin Hill would have never have lost them games that were lost in that period.
No.
So yes, it has put the title in jeopardy for Celtic. There's no getting away from that, and it's up to Martin Hill now to try and claw it back. And it starts tomorrow.
Apostolos Stamatolopoulos has not played as much recently as he would have liked. He's come on now for Elijah Just for Motherwell as they look for that fourth goal. Queen of the South have got their fourth away at East Fife.
Fine.
Hamilton Accies have opened the scoring at home to Cove. Ollie Shaw with the goal there. What else have we got here? Free kick Falkirk. Calvin Miller on top of the bar. Decent effort, but not quite decent enough. And half chance for Tony Watt. Couldn't get the ball out from under his feet in the box. And it remains Partick Thistle 2, Ayr United 1.
Just looking at Falkirk Hibs, you've got Martin Boyle on the pitch, you've got the so-called £6 million Kieran Bowie, and it's a central defender that's going to go.
Wraith Rovers 4, Queen's Park 0. Jack Hamilton's hat-trick there. So it's a very bad day for the Spiders. One of Cammy's former clubs. You can just say that.
The Spiders, listen, everybody comes up there.
One of 10, I think.
Is it 10 you've had?
I think so.
You've had 10 clubs?
I've had 5 in the top flight, actually, when I look at it,
Okay, Kilmarnock, Rangers, Dundee United.
Hibs. Falkirk.
You were at Hibs?
Yeah, just for 6 months. Only played a handful of games.
So between this week on the show, we've had Tony Watt, who's had more than him, and he's at 10. So that's quite a lot of clubs we managed to tick off this week. Tony Watt, he must be 13 or something.
Tony's been about. I was at St Johnstone with Tony as well. Great lad.
Johnson as well.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Partick Thistle.
Yeah.
Red card for David Martindale. I'm sure it'll be
He must
interesting
run
to
away
hear his
early.
thoughts. You're allowed to do that if you're a manager. Just send
get
it off
away.
and get down the road.
Oh yeah, got a car waiting for you.
Don't know if that's how it
Well,
works.
I wasn't a manager. I was sort of what was it? Sort of director of football at Ayr when I sat in the dugout with Campbell Money and I left after 20 minutes, never come back.
Almost a hat-trick for Barney Stewart. He hits one wide at the back post. Red card, David Martindale. Looking forward to hearing
I said
from
to you,
it.
he's had a terrible week, and the tension has built up, and finally he's exploded.
Is the pressure? I mean, the pressure must be getting to him.
Well, it's the Dazzler keeps on saying, if it was any other club with a run of games where you haven't won one match since August the 9th, then
you ain't surviving.
But would Livingston look at this moment in time, because they do have, again, when you look at it, they're in touching distance of Kilmarnock.
That's clearly what helps, because Kilmarnock are going to lose today as well.
Yeah,
so
but do they look at it and think, well, this isn't working the way that it's going just now?
Oh, right, okay.
Can we make a change to try? And
backed him in the new year, and then has given him a lot of money as well since. So, but we will wait and see. Anything else to tell you about yet? A lot of numbers down your way, Gordon Dale. It just shows you they clearly are enjoying the football as well, because there have been Motherwell teams in the past decade and more than that have been finishing third, and in the European places they don't get 7,200 fans at a home game against Kilmarnock in January.
Brilliant.
That's down to one thing only, and it's the way that they're playing.
Look, obviously I'm born and bred there, live there. The Motherwell fans, I talk to them day in, day out, in and out of Asda. They are absolutely enjoying everything about this guy, the team, everything about the club, and it's shown there with the attendances. The attendances are up by a mile this year. It's brilliant. It's a great time to be a Motherwellian.
Good championship attendance at Firhill, actually, nearly 4,000 there. Josh Finney had an effort. George Finney, saved by Josh Clark. Then at the other end, Ashcroft's header saved by Russell as well. So remember, the Jags are in front, but maybe the momentum had shifted a bit with that Curtis Main goal, making it 2-1. A reminder, Hugh, of your teaser, if you could please.
I have played with Kevin Thompson, Robbie Winters and Barry Douglas. I have been managed by Gary Caldwell, and I've played for 8 different clubs in my career. Who am I?
Ian Fitzpatrick would like to throw Willow Flood's name in.
Oh, no.
SM thinks it could be John Daly.
And it isn't.
Buffalo Alberts thinks it's Chris Erskine.
Ooh, who?
Chris Erskine, former Partick Thistle player. No?
Well, no, it's not him.
Dundee United, right? Okay. Keep those guesses coming. It's proving quite tricky. One or two of you have got it. Still nothing from you, Gordon Dale?
I've got a sneaky.
So the person who usually texts you is busy today. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Well, Roger's not on the programme.
No, there you go. That's
no, that listen, I owned up.
Where is Roger?
Roger. Oh, I don't know. What should you say? I owned up to one text I got from Roger, so I was honest about it. So I've not had. Have I touched my phone?
So what's your inclination? No. Write it down for me.
I'm going to go with this,
and I'll tell the audience if it's wrong, and then that'll help them along.
Okay.
So no.
Continue
writing it, but I can see by the letters that it's not correct.
No, is it?
Graham Doe. Well, Doran's. Were you going to say? No. Right. Not.
Well,
Graham
when you
Dorrans.
said no, I wasn't going any further. That's a waste of ink.
Hibs have had a free kick. McGrath hits it over the bar. Rudy Molotnikov comes on. He's had a shot saved. There's now a bit of end to end there. Wilson's sclaffed a good chance. It's all happening. I think we've got handbags at Pataudry as well. Good, this is what we like. Bit of drama, bit of excitement.
What was the big Ian doing when wee Davy was getting sent off? What was big?
Laughing.
Hiding behind him.
Probably laughing. Knowing Marv. Listen,
is it true that if Marv laughs at Pataudry, you can actually still hear it from Clydebank?
Oh yeah. It's okay us having a go and talking about it, but see, as a manager, when you're under pressure, it's incredible. It affects your full life, your weekends, everything. It's unbelievable. They take it home with them. They sit there and analyse every single thing that goes wrong, and Davy's just obviously under a lot of pressure there. He loves the club, he wants to do well for the club, and things aren't going well for him.
I think especially at the moment, we spoke about many times how they're always quite close in games. The other night they're a minute away from winning. Today they've gone to Pataudry and scored twice in the first half and going behind at the break. This is, look, it won't count in the end up, and we'll probably need to stop mentioning it at some stage, but this is not a team that's losing 3-0 and 4-0 and all that sort of stuff every week. They're very close within all the games. Right, I think we've had a double red card at Pataudry. So started off between Milne and Bokila, escalated from there. They've both been sent off, and they're both arguing as they leave the pitch. That game has had absolutely everything.
Incredible.
That game has absolutely everything. It really has.
We go up the tunnel together and have a tunnel cabaret.
I mean, some places are reporting it as Graham Shinney and Jeremy Bokila, but Dave reckons Jack Milne. Either way, it is all happening at Pataudry. 5 goals, 2 red cards. Would we have a disallowed goal?
Yep.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
It's an incredible game.
Great entertainment. Did anyone have that down as entertainment of the day?
No.
I'm not sure.
I had Firhill.
I'm not sure, but there we go.
Again, Livingston can take a result. I mean, they're only a goal behind, so a draw wouldn't be a bad result coming away from Pataudry.
Both down to 10. Interesting, because you don't see that obviously very often happening at the same time. Raith Rovers 4, Queen's Park 1. Goal scorer Seb Drozd. What's he famous for, Hugh?
Oh, you
doesn't he know?
Want to help him out? No,
I don't know what he's famous for.
No.
What's his name?
Seb Drozd.
I don't know. Give us a wee clue.
About a year ago.
that gives me a lot to work on.
That was his moment of fame.
Oh, the goal against Rangers in the Cup.
Yeah, he scored the winner, didn't he? Seb
sure
Drozd.
I did.
And they're going to go back there. You would probably predict the one who always prejudged the outcome of that disciplinary scenario with Stranraer, but it does look like Queen's Park will be heading.
Either he was an emergency signing, which is allowed, or he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a simple legal matter. Yes or no?
Dave Galloway reckons it was just about handbags, pushing and shoving, and thinks a yellow each would have done. Which, listen, without having seen it, Cammy, I'm interested in that because it takes quite a lot for those to end in red now.
Yep.
You know, that pushing doesn't really do it. Even, grabbing and, you kind of need to strike someone quite hard, or you need to grab them maybe by the throat, or for 2 reds to come from the old pushing and shoving bit is quite rare.
Yeah, but again, we've got VAR, so if he'd got it wrong, you think they would have intervened to say, look, no, there's not been what you've potentially seen if it's a headbutt, or as you say, a grab to the throat, or an act of violence. So, but very, very rare that you see 2 players getting sent off for the same incident.
Kilmarnock have managed to venture up the pitch, which is one thing. They are probably out of disastrous scoreline territory with 10 to go. They're 3-0 down. There's no cause for celebration, but there was a period in that second half where it went 3 early. They were down to 10 men. Motherwell just passing it round their box. It could have got really, really bad for Killie, but they managed to have... Looks like they've managed to ride most of that out.
I think Neil McCann will regard 3-0 as really, really bad anyway.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
There are degrees of bad. 6 is worse than 3.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder, have Motherwell subconsciously dropped down a notch?
Well, I mean, Fraser can tell us. I think they're still pressing in plenty way and passing it around the box, but I suppose just sometimes that cutting edge. They've made some changes. Stamatopoulos hasn't played a lot recently, and Björn Golfsson hasn't played at all, so
I mean, it'll be good for them to get these guys on the pitch and get game time when they're comfortable. When the game, there's no threat of losing the game or dropping any points. So it'll be a nice scenario for the manager to allow these guys to go on the pitch and get minutes into the legs.
No other late goals yet to tell you about. There's a big one down the road. Burnley 2, Spurs 1. Spurs are having a stinker, aren't they?
They won the other night in Europe, did they not?
Yep, 2-0.
Yeah, that's the thing. In Europe, they're good, but
Andy Robertson possibly going there.
That'd be a good move, wouldn't it?
Yeah, great move for him.
Oh, Liverpool down to London.
Yeah.
Your last contract.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think I've got the teaser, Gordon.
Go on then, write
I
it
don't
down.
know how you write it down. I'll just give you a clue. Is it anything to do with the time I bumped into him in Germany, by any chance?
Yes. What kind of clue is that?
Well, I'm asking you.
Yes, you bumped into him in Germany. Okay, let's
right,
move
I know
on.
Who it is.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
That 4th goal has arrived for Motherwell, and it is Lucas Fadinger. More of a string puller, doesn't threaten the goal all that often, but he has scored the 4th here, and now there is still 10 minutes to go.
Oof.
And it's back to trying to really protect things for Kilmarnock. But Lucas Fadinger makes it 4. It's all too easy for Motherwell. Low shot, cross the keeper, into the net. They were home and hosed already. Now they're adding some gloss. Oh, listen to this though as well.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen 4, Livy 2. Hilton Nielsen, easy header after a corner, and although they're both down to 10, it's Aberdeen 4, Livy 2.
It definitely looks as if Kilmarnock and Livy are already isolated at the bottom. One's going down automatically, the other one will be in the playoffs because you can't see any way back for them, point number 1, and those above them, St Mirren, Dundee, they're just simply better than they are. Billy's got a lot of thinking to do at Rugby Park, because a club like Kilmarnock, they can't afford to go into the Championship, Cammy.
No, not again. I think they were fortunate the last time they dropped in, not so long ago, that they managed to recruit a good manager at the right time, because when they dropped into the Championship, Tommy Wright was manager, it wasn't going well, and probably couldn't see them getting promoted straight away with him in charge, and they made the change to bring Derek in, who got them over the line. So yeah, listen, it can be hugely damaging. Kilmarnock need to change their Obviously, if they stay in the top flight, change their pitch. They're building a training ground, so there's been a huge amount of investment in the club.
Yeah,
so
I was thinking that about the training ground and the pitch.
Yeah, so it's there's been a lot of investment from Billy Bowie, and I know they've cut back on the wage bill, but certainly the players that are there haven't delivered this season.
3 big chances for Partick Thistle. Is this the moment they live to regret if Ayr go and equalise? Because Crawford had an effort saved, Alex Samuel then had one block, then Ben McPherson saved again, all in immediate succession. So Ayr really hanging on and giving themselves a chance. It remains Partick Thistle 2, Ayr 1. I don't think you can really criticise anything about the way Motherwell are going this season, but you don't see that many young players playing because they've got a big squad and it's a successful squad and they all rotate. So they're taking this rare opportunity to get Ross and McComb on, youngsters replacing Side and Priestman. I think
good to see them on.
Are we out of, is all the jeopardy gone out of Aberdeen now? 4-2 up.
Oh yeah.
We're a bit behind that though. We're right. This is a big goal. We were poised at the Falkirk Stadium. It was 2-1 to Falkirk, remember.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 3, Hibs 1, and the hat-trick has arrived. Update that man's Wikipedia page. Get the Netflix crew down. We need to make more of Barney Stewart playing university football not that long ago. He's still finishing his degree and he's scoring hat-tricks in the Scottish Premiership. That is outstanding.
Lots of brains in his head and lots of brains in his feet. He's perfect. But for Sir David Gray, cup elimination at the hands of a championship side, followed by a going over by the promoted side, storm clouds.
Yeah, he'll come in for a little bit of criticism. Well, maybe a big bit of criticism, but let's not take anything away from Falkirk. You know, that must be one of those grounds now that if you're looking at your next fixture list, no matter who you are, you're thinking we're in for a real difficult game. Falkirk have been brilliant this year.
Well, the next fixture is Celtic at Celtic Park.
Yeah, Barney Stewart, that just is an incredible story. Again, it gives all these people good hope when you're playing at a lower level and you're still ambitious to get up the chain and try and get yourselves to a professional club. Then he's living proof of what you can do, because that's just, it really is an incredible story that he's got a hat-trick today.
How have Hibs come to this? You know, we were talking about.
That's the thing. That's what I keep saying. The temptation to take away from Falkirk.
Yeah,
I think Falkirk can do this to teams now.
But I know, but as you always say, two things can be true at the same time. Falkirk undeniably due praise aplenty, and the job that John McGlynn has done. 2 promotions back to back, and now top 6 in the Premiership. He is different class.
But do you think Hibs have been convincing all season? I feel like they've been teetering.
Yeah.
I don't think they've had a particularly brilliant season, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, but well, you know, there was a time that looked brighter, far brighter, as Ross County go a goal up, which means that Queen's Park are bothered out. But you know, the Hibs fans are not having them right now.
No,
and that's a danger, because the more they're not having you, the more noise they make. And you know, he is the historical figure, Sir David Gray, the man who scored the goal that beat Rangers and won the Scottish Cup. However, doesn't matter how historic a figure you are. Celtic sacked Billy McNeill, Rangers sacked John Gregg. Nobody's safe.
I don't like to put pressure on Andy Halliday or Roger Hannah, but if Barney Stewart is not at least one of their picks for man of the weekend, they have done something wrong. I just keep thinking about it. All that stuff that we said in the background, to go from university football to a Scottish top flight hat-trick in the space of whatever it is, 18 months. That's unbelievable.
Unless your man of the weekend is the man who brought him to Falkirk in the first place.
Well, exactly, that's a fair point. Who is, you know, that's... And John McGlynn would give us a name of
the scout
whoever played a part.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
Who's watching that level of football for a club like Falkirk?
Somebody told me his name the other week.
Yeah, they did actually. Thursday night we discussed it.
Yeah, with Kenny. And they said that he's just one of those old school guys, goes out there, does his work, looks at players that nobody else is looking at.
I was through it, obviously Hearts train at Oriam. I was through there recently, and you'll know Ross Campbell.
Yes, yep.
That's Dix Campbell's son, isn't it? Involved at Montrose, obviously, as well. He was talking about having Barney Stewart in their football programme and taking, just playing university football to then go to, obviously at the time it was the Championship. I think that's a good enough story.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you the who am I answer before we get any more drama.
Yeah, go on then, let me tee up with your exciting music.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played with Kevin Thompson, Robbie Winters and Barry Douglas. I have been managed by Gary Caldwell, and I have played for 8 different clubs in my career. I am John and Stephen's brother. I am Paul McGinn.
Paul McGinn, Chesterfield with Gary Caldwell. That was your tricky one in there perhaps, but well done if you got it right. Thank you for taking part even if you didn't. We got there in the end, but there was a wide range of answers coming in. Ian Fitzpatrick eventually got there in 3rd place, Chrissy Lewis in 2nd, but the winner was David Wilson. Great McGinn knowledge. You are the winner of the second half teaser. 2 minutes added at Fir Park. It's funny how it's always only 2 when a team's miles in front, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's never 2 when it's 1 each.
No.
Oh, big save, Josh Clark to deny George Oakley air coming close to a late equaliser. That would have broken Mark Wilson's heart. But the goalkeeper, who has been an excellent signing this season, standing up there. Okay, what else have we got? No, nothing else doing
Johnson's
at the moment.
still losing at home to Dunfermline, so Mark just needs to hang on, and he's made up 3 points.
Debut for Olasanya today for Aberdeen. They look home and hose now, both down to 10, but they're 4-2 up against Livy. He's had a shot blocked out for a corner. Doing some interesting business this week, Cammy. A couple of loans. Liam Morrison to OC Olasanya as well, so interesting to see if they can have that impact and fire Aberdeen up, because for Aberdeen and Dundee United in particular, just because they're big clubs, if you like, or bigger, with bigger budgets, and hold on a minute, speaking of big clubs with big budgets, being outdone by weird clubs.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 4, Hibs 1, and it's one of their January signings. It's Louis Marsh on loan from Sheffield United. Falkirk are outstanding. It was a low shot, deflected in, and the Bairns are superb.
That's great. Let me give the old 2 things can be right at once. That is phenomenal on Falkirk's part. David Gray's in trouble on Hibs' part.
Yeah, that's
I'm not even going to push back on this one.
No,
you can have that one.
No, that's
a bad result.
It's a damaging result, especially off the back of last weekend.
Yeah.
We spoke about the cup and how important it was to probably Hibs this season, looking what they would want to do for the season, and then to go to Falkirk Stadium. There's no disgrace in losing at Falkirk Stadium, but the manner that they've done it today will be damaging.
It went in off Grant Hanley, might go down as an own goal, but superb from Falkirk. We're going to get to them. Speaking of superb, very comfortable for Motherwell, Fraser Wishart.
It was Gordon. Motherwell 4, Kilmarnock 0. It took the home side a while to get going, but once they did, ended up in a real stroll for the Fir Park side. 2 goals in either half against Kilmarnock side, who started the game well for the first half hour or so, but then had to play the second half with 10 men and are now 17 games without a win. So Kelly, as I said, settled into the game quite quickly. Tyrese John Jewell shot inches wide after 50 seconds. Keeper was beaten. The striker also hit the bar with a header. Liam Polworth had a goal disallowed for offside by VAR, but once Motherwell got into their stride after about half an hour, they took complete control of the game. Elijah just opened the scoring, took a slattery pass in his stride, and as he does, lovely touch, fired the ball high into the top left hand corner from about 12 yards, just into stoppage time. Then Tawanda Maswanisi volleyed into the net from about 8 yards. It was 2-0 at the break. That goal came for a free kick that was given to Motherwell. There was a second yellow card for Tom Lowry for a foul on Maswanisi. The midfield player was sent off. Neil McCann was booked, and his side were really up against it in the second half. And it was just a procession towards the Kelly goal. Lucas Vadinger tested Ruse from 20 yards, pushed away by the goalkeeper from his right hand post. Elijah just inflict a Tom Sparrow cross straight at the goalkeeper, and it was 3-0 in 56 minutes for Motherwell. Low Longello cross wasn't cleared. It was poor defending by the Kelly defence, and Ibrahim Said had the simple task of firing the loose ball into the net from about 12 yards. Bertil Askew then took the opportunity to give his new signing Aitor Björgolfsson his debut. The striker couldn't get a goal on his debut but looked lively. Paul McGinn came close with a header from a Slattery corner. It's almost too easy for Motherwell. Plenty of possession but not too many chances. The game just played exclusively in and around the Kilmarnock box. In a rare 40 up the pitch by Kilmarnock saw Brad Lyons latch onto an Anderson flick, but he shot straight at Callum Ward. And it's 4-0 with 82 minutes on the clock. A really good passing move inside the box. Ended up with Lucas Fadinga shooting low across Roos into the far corner of the net. With 5 minutes to go, the whole stadium stood, clapped the home side, singing and chanting for their home team. And then with another 9 games, with a home clean sheet, another one today. 9 games they lost a goal here, 4 good goals. The home fans are really happy, but it's going to be tough, I think, for Kilmarnock. You can only see one thing: it's a fight for survival in the Premier League for Neil McCann's men. Full time here, Motherwell 4, Kilmarnock 0.
And those goals take Motherwell to within 4 points of Rangers. That's another way of looking at the job that Jens Bertil Askew has done at Fir Park, and that they will go on in that vein for the remainder of the season. The remainder of the season for Neil McCann and Kilmarnock is an altogether different proposition. They're in the isolation ward, and there are only 2 patients in it, Kilmarnock and Livingston, because the rest of the league are pulling away from them. So one of them's going down automatically and the other one's in the playoffs, unless they can find a rich vein of form that from this distance doesn't look possible.
What's impressing me about Motherwell is not the fact he's touching there about the goals, Hugh. Fraser touched on it there. 9 home games, and they've not conceded a goal. It's absolutely terrific. What a story it is. They're playing great football. The crowds are come flooding back. They're winning games. They're in a fantastic place just now.
They've actually missed another Aberdeen goal. It's 5-2, but I'll let Dave Galloway just tell us about it when we go to him for full time. We've kind of said a lot of positive things about Motherwell, Cammy. That's just almost expected today that they would win, and I'm sure Neil McCann will point in some way to the sending off. But just really, really comfortable in what they do at the moment.
Yeah, they're very impressive. They're efficient at what they do. They go about their business well. They didn't start the game particularly well today either. So again, but it just shows you they grow into games as well, and they can defend when they need to. The clean sheet thing's incredible, and that just builds them confidence going forward, because they've got players in their team obviously that we know can score goals. But for Kilmarnock point of view, it's really, really worrying. They've changed their manager. Nothing has changed. The results haven't changed. Performances have just been as poor. They're conceding as many goals. So yeah, it's deeply concerning for Killie going forward.
Scott Brown had been sent off, by the way, forgot to tell you that as well. So that's him and David Martindale today. Manager's not happy with what is going on. Let's we got full time yet at Partick Thistle? I think we do. I'm just going to check in and make sure. I'm going to check if that other game is done as well between St Johnstone and Dunfermline. It's not yet. There's actually still a bit of life left in that. So let's just go for Partick Thistle here in isolation. Alison McConnell's watched it.
Yeah, a huge win here for Mark Wilson's side, and it may well prove to be a massive afternoon in the Championship, because, well, this is a big win. It should certainly have been a lot more comfortable than how it proved to be. It really should have been out of sight for Thistle in that opening half after goals from Logan Chalmers and Alex Samuel. They were in firm command. Well, Chalmers missed that penalty to his effort save from Liam Russell, but Scott Brown rang the changes at the break. In the second period he brought in Curtis Main, and Ayr forced their way back into it. Main found the net just before the hour mark. He lashed in an effort from close range after George Finney's initial effort, and it came after Thistle really had failed to heed the warnings. Lee Ashcroft had thrown himself at a Kevin Holt header just to deny Ayr immediately after the restart, and you could feel the nerves around Firhill as Ayr just kept up the pressure. Main hit the side netting after a routine long ball over the top, while Ashcroft had to time one tackle perfectly as he stopped Anton Dowds in his tracks. Thistle could have taken the tension out of it. They were denied by some desperate Ayr defending. Substitute Robbie Crawford had an effort saved by Russell. Samuel's follow-up shot was blocked, and the rebound was again repelled by Russell. George Clark though come up with a big save to deny Ayr sub George Oakley before Brown was then sent off after Grant Irvin showed him a second yellow card. So a hugely frustrating afternoon for Ayr United, but it's a different story for Partick Thistle as they really put the pressure now on St Johnstone.
Some brilliant results up and down the country today, and speaking of which, let's go to the Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk against Hibs was watched by David Friel.
Full time, Gordon. Falkirk 4, Hibs 1. What a result for Falkirk. What a day for Barney Stewart. Fairy tale stuff for the Falkirk striker, and shouldn't, as he claimed, the first senior hat-trick and an absolute rout over Hibs in the end. The 21-year-old, as you said, was playing for Heriot Watt Uni team just 18 months ago. He's still finishing his degree in his spare time. He hadn't scored one Premiership goal before today. He now has 3. He's only 21. He's got the world at his feet. What a performance from him. Louis Marsh, or a Grant Hanley own goal for being harsh, capped a perfect day for Falkirk. They're now just 2 points off 5th placed Hibs. Stewart went off to a standing ovation. He's going to chase Don Robertson down the tunnel and try and get the match ball off him. He deserves it. All the Falkirk players deserve so much credit. John McGlynn, what a job he's done, and this was another brilliant display and brilliant result. Stewart tapped Falkirk into a deserved lead, 17 minutes on the clock. Calvin Miller crossed, striker finished it off, simple tap-in. Grant Hanley almost equalised from a Hibs set piece. Scott Bain made a terrific save, but Falkirk always looked more likely to get the second, and they got it just before the break. Calvin Miller again, he was outstanding. Down the left, cut back for Stewart, a really cool finish. Hibs had to be better in the second half, and they definitely were for a spell. Kieran Bowie had a low shot saved before Rocky Bashiri pulled a goal back from a corner. Jordan Beater's delivery was good. The big defender headed in from close range. Falkirk had to weather a storm for a bit, but they were soon piling on pressure again. Calvin Miller hit the bar for a free kick. He almost scored direct from a corner. Stewart then had a chance for his hat-trick. He steered it just wide from the angle. It was end-to-end stuff for a while, but Stewart then capped a brilliant display when he completed his hat-trick in 83 minutes. Louis Marsh came off the bench. He's an England number 20 cap. Plays for Sheffield United. He made a real impact. He claimed the assist this time. Low cross, Stewart once again the perfect place to tap in. The Falkirk fans started chanting Barney Arney at this stage. They were taunting the Hibs fans who were heading for the exit, most of them, but there was still time for a fourth. Marsh cutting from the left, powerful shot. It was deflected down by Grant Hanley. Falkirk are flying. They're almost pushing for this 5th place, but Hibs are in deep Barney rubble. Full time, Falkirk 4, Hibs 1.
An outstanding result for Falkirk. There's a game still going. Not only still going, there are still goals being scored. It's nearly 5 o'clock at Pittodrie.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen 6, Livingston 2. What an afternoon that is in the Granite City. Dave Galloway is going to tell us all about it very soon. In the meantime, why don't you line up your calls? 01419511025. What is on your mind? Today's football has been outstanding. I'd love to hear from you Falkirk fans. You must be pinching yourselves at what this team is achieving. 4-1 against Hibs, looking, dare I say it, almost nailed on for a top 6 spot. You're signing players from university football who are then scoring top flight hat-tricks a year and a half later. Give us all your thoughts there. Motherwell fans, you just keep rolling on. Another win, another clean sheet. 4 points now behind Celtic and Rangers, who both play tomorrow. Give us your thoughts there please on the same number, 01419511025. Any disgruntled Hibs fans want to share your concerns, you can do. And then of course tomorrow, Hearts against Celtic, Rangers against Dundee. Everything that's on your mind with regards to those 2 fixtures, we want to hear it. There are late full-time whistles going down the leagues as well. Wraith Rovers 4, Queen's Park 1. Not entirely sure what the delay was there. I'm looking at Dave Galloway's game. There was 4 minutes added about 4 minutes ago, but they've scored within that. It is now done. Dave Galloway, good luck keeping this concise. Take it away.
It finished Aberdeen 6 at Livingston 2, Gordon. A strong start by Aberdeen. They deservedly went ahead after 9 minutes. A very good corner by Cameron. Canuster helped the ball on, and Bilalovic bundled it home. The Dons had a second goal disallowed for offside after a VAR review. Nisbet had coolly netted after an excellent Armstrong pass. The visitors had posed no threat but equalised on 28 minutes. Sissoko from close range after the ball broke to him following a free kick. Very poor defending though, and it happened again 3 minutes later. Once more, the home defence couldn't deal with a long free kick into the danger zone. McLennan's volley was saved by Mitov, but it went straight to Muirhead, who said thanks very much. The Dons looked shell-shocked, but in the 4th minute of the first half stoppage time, it was 2-2, a perfect cross by Frame from the left-hand side, and Nisbet was there at the back post to tap in, and it was 3-2 in the 8th minute of added time in that first half when Nisbet finished from point-blank range after Keskinen crossed. A good game despite the dreadful weather, both sides having a go with the Dons playing some very attractive stuff. Both sides, though, were down to 10 men after 70 minutes. Milne and Bakila squared up with some pushing and shoving, which escalated. Ross Hardy sent both players off, which did look very harsh. It looked from where I was sitting as little more than some handbags. Livy boss Davy Martindale had earlier been sent to the stands as well. Aberdeen made it 4-2 on 75 minutes. Helton and Nielsen with a simple header from close range after a corner kick. Milanovic passed up a decent chance to make it 5-2, shooting tamely at Prior. Aberdeen did though get their fifth goal after 85 minutes. A great solo effort from Keskinen. He got it onto his right foot and a powerful finish, but has to be said, dodgy defending from Livy. But we were not done just then. It was 6-2 in the 92nd minute. Another brilliant run by Keskinen, and he dinks over the keeper. When did a game promise so little yet deliver so much? It finished here incredibly at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 6, Livingston 2.
Some real standout results today. An absolutely incredible day of football. Count them up. Look at the number of goals scored. 8 there at Pittodrie, 4 at Fir Park, 5 at the Falkirk Stadium. It has been an unbelievable day in the Scottish Premiership. It is now over to you, so give us a call right now please. 0141 951 1025. If you go through it in order from today's games, Motherwell fans, how pleasing is what you've achieved today to add on to what you've already done. Falkirk fans, you're every bit as happy at the moment, I'd imagine. Any disgruntled Hibs fans want to share your thoughts? Or Killie fans, can you see your team surviving this season? And then on to tomorrow. How big is that game at Tynecastle going to be? Would you start Cvancara, the new striker? Could you see him coming off the bench? Does the physical exploits of the other night make life more difficult for Celtic, or is it offset by Hearts' absences? What about the possible outcomes in terms of the top of the table? Rangers, your home game against Dundee is almost taking second billing just because there's so much said about Tynecastle, but that'll be a fascinating one. Dundee are much better than they were the last time you played, so how do you view that game tomorrow? But first things first, Hugh Keevins, what a day that has been.
Well, remarkable in terms of the number of goals scored, remarkable in terms of the number of red cards, and the seriousness of the implications for Livy and for Kilmarnock. But the John McGlynn story goes on, and the man's a marvel. Barney Stewart's a marvel. Hat-trick for Falkirk. Serious times for Davy Gray at Hibs. A result like that on top of the Cup defeat last weekend is bad for him, bad for the club. And Motherwell will go on their merry way, and it's just been a terrific day of thrills and spills. And in the Championship, Partick Thistle now within 2 points of St Johnstone at the top.
Yeah, a fantastic day of football. Really enjoyed it. So many goals and drama in games. As Hugh said, a huge implication on Kilmarnock and Livingston today with losing them games, and they've cut adrift in the table. So yeah, massive day of Scottish football again.
Brilliant afternoon, absolutely brilliant. Even though down the Championship and the lower leagues as well, plenty of goals, plenty of excitement, and big results. And looking forward to tomorrow, another big day.
And that's the thing, Hugh. Today had all the drama and all the excitement and so many storylines, and in many ways tomorrow that's guaranteed because the game at Tynecastle is so big, so there is no outcome which isn't a big outcome tomorrow.
When one plays two, that is the biggest game of the day without doubt. When one is minus two of the very best players in Cammy Devlin and Lon Shankland, and two is featuring a striker of whom Martin O'Neill has said he's not the answer, but he's the only answer Celtic could find. So I think he has to start tomorrow, Tomas Cvancara. And Celtic, if they lose, for me, the title race is over. They can't make up that 9-point gap. If they win, my goodness, the climax to this season will be something to behold. And Celtic's next game after Hearts is against the remarkable John McGlynn, 64-year-old Falkirk manager versus 74-year-old Celtic manager. I feel like a young thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Not just that, you look at Rangers sitting pretty third place. They've made 3 good signings. Well, on paper, they're 3 good signings. Have to see what they bring. They're up against a Dundee team that you never know, and they were unlucky at Ibrox. They know how to go there and get a performance out themselves. But all eyes, I think, will be in Tynecastle. I know what Hugh's saying about 9 points. It is a lot to claw back. I just think it depends on who Celtic can bring in the transfer window, Gordon. If they stayed with the same squad just now, 9 points for me, too far. If they strengthen, and I do believe they will, then I still think that even if they lost tomorrow, they're still in it.
All the reaction to today's games, all the thoughts ahead of tomorrow's games to come. Give us a call right now on 0141 951 1025. As is always the case at this stage on a Saturday, we're going to live stream the show as well. So if you've just been waiting patiently all afternoon, desperate to see Hugh Keevins' face, as I'm sure many of you have, you can do that now. Fire over, jump over onto YouTube or Facebook, Twitter, wherever you normally get your live stream throughout midweek, and you will find us there. After these, give us a call and we'll speak soon.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called it, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Because you bought your robot vacuum on your Barclay card, you got 0% interest for up to 24 months, which makes watching it, hypnotically sweeping up your crumbs, even more satisfying. Oh, missed a bit. What you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. Barclay card. Make money work for you. Subject to financial status. New customers only. Representative example, 24.9% APR representative variable, 24.9% purchase rate per annum based on £1,200 credit limit. T's and C's apply.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Oh, what a day. What a day it's been in the Scottish Premiership and beyond. Goals, red cards, big controversies, high drama, good results depending who you support, terrible results depending who you support, and a busy day tomorrow which includes a top of the table clash. So why not give us all your thoughts right now on 0141 951 1025 and put those points to Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
Yep, and there are plenty of talking points, but I think dazzling though the day has been, memorable though it has been, there is so much to talk about concerning tomorrow's games. Celtic's result and performance in Bologna was extraordinary. The bravery shown, the colossal spirit, as Martin O'Neill described it. And the other question, how much will the loss of Benny Beningame, Cammy Devlin and Lawrence Shankland affect Hearts? It is the pivotal game of the season so far as the Premiership title is concerned, and I cannot wait.
But as you know, for as long as many of us can remember, this has been the place to get your post-match thoughts off your chest. The phones are lighting up. I always take it as a real compliment that when you come out of the game, you think, I need to let that lot know what has been going on today. Simon's a Kilmarnock fan. How bad are we talking, Simon?
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money. Want to shout pen before the ref is even called in. Want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet. Want to see them leave early. Want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future. Want to hear them agree. And if not, I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Because you like spotting yellow cars before your kids do. Because you like to read the score on the screen, especially when you're winning. Because there's a Boots Opticians about 2 minutes from work. Because we have clinical experts and all the latest tech. Because your eyes deserve our ultimate eye test. Because we'll help you find your perfect style. Because of all these things, there's only one choice. Boots Opticians. See what's possible.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Hi guys, so having a better afternoon than me. I'm already on the train and we're almost at Rutherglen heading back, so that tells you how bad that was. I'm always a proponent of never leave early, but as soon as I hit 3-0, that was it's really, really bad. I phoned when Neil McCann got the job and said I would be behind him, and we've obviously went for the cheap appointment because we're trying to cut back on money. Same thing with Stuart Kettlewell, but he's actually managed to actively make things worse. I'm not calling, obviously, for him to be sacked. We won't sack him. That's just not going to happen. We couldn't afford to do that. But it's actively worse than it was under Stuart Kettlewell, which is some statement because it was pretty bad back then. So, yeah, it was the first half performance today. Actually, I think we were probably the better team until Motherwell scored. I think Motherwell were really lucky to take the lead. We kind of managed to nullify them pretty well, and it was pretty impressive. But as soon as that goal went in for us, that was offside, and by all accounts it was offside, we just absolutely crumbled. And it's just us being the better team, and then it ended up managing to go in at half time 2-0 down and down to 10 men. That pretty much sums up our season.
Any mitigation from the red card for the team and for Neil McCann?
Foul looked a bit, obviously, the stand, so it's a bit far away. The first one looked really, really soft, but when you already on a yellow, you can't make the foul that you made in the second one because it's going to be a second yellow all day long. So no, I don't feel that we were badly done by that. It was he needs to be. It was a bit like Hatate's one in the game. That if you're on a yellow card, you can't do anything stupid, and he made a stupid tackle, so deserved to go off. But it just kind of sums it.
Simon, you're 5 points behind St Mirren. You've played a game more than St Mirren. Are you resigned to it being the playoffs at best or automatic relegation at worst?
Yeah, when the halftime whistle went and we looked at our phones and Livingston went in 2-1 at that point, it felt hopeless, to be honest with you. We thought everyone was going against us. Now obviously we managed to lose 4-0 today, and so
at Rutherglen Tunnel.
Train's got the better of
it.
Yeah.
Always loses at Signal just by Rutherglen.
I'm going to guess he was saying we managed to lose 4-0 today and still ended up slightly better off in the league. Would that be right? If Kelly lost, if Livy conceded 6?
But I do think St Mirren 5 in front of Kilmarnock played a game less. I do think Kelly and Livy are just waiting to see who's out automatically and who's in the playoff.
Their only hope, Hugh, is St Mirren Dundee. And the way Dundee are performing, they've got their act together. They'll pick up a lot of points. St Mirren, you would think, I know they went through a bad spell before the cup final and after the cup final. They've not been great, but they've got the squad there, they've got the manager. I think Kilmarnock are doomed. They're either in the playoffs, and I would say the playoffs because I can't see Livingston doing anything.
We'll bid farewell to Simon and let him finish his train journey. Robert is another Kelly fan. A lot of Kelly fans phoning in already. Are you doomed, Robert, to the bottom two? can you still, because the points gap it's not massive, but you're not liking what you're seeing, are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. I hope you're all well today. No, we're down. We are 100% down. Even if we finish in second bottom, whoever we play in the Championship will beat us without a shadow of a doubt. This season is gone. We are heading to the Championship. I'm just off the forums there, talking to a few friends, and pretty much just across the board, everybody's like, aye, we're down. I don't know how we're going to get them back up because there's no money. We made an £800,000 loss this year, and where's the money going to come for us to get us back up?
Why is today being viewed as so bad, Robert? I can't possibly put a positive spin on it, but if we were to try and cut your team a little bit of slack, pretty much everybody that goes to Fir Park these days is underdogs for the games, just the way things have shifted. Motherwell always keep clean sheets at home. Motherwell would have been expected to win, and you played more than half the game with 10 men. Is there none of that makes you think, I'll cut them, even a little bit of slack?
Listen, I have to say, Motherwell were excellent. They really were. They were entirely efficient. They completely tore us apart. We did start off pretty well. We got a goal disallowed, but the frailty is always there. The third goal. Now, I really hate picking on players, but Robbie Dees for the third goal, and he's been doing it all season long. He just needs to put any touch on the ball at all, and it takes it away from the player that scores the goal. And he misses. And he's been doing this all season long, and I don't know how he's still getting in the game. I don't know how he's still pulling on a Kelly shirt. This is ridiculous. But this set of players we have now, this is the set of players that Kettlewell signed. This is on his appointment. And that was due to Bowie appointing him. No one in Kelly wanted him. None of us at all wanted him. We were like, oh my God, can't believe he's getting him that job. But we all went, right, we'll back him. And look where we are. And we need 11 players, to be honest. We need a whole new team, because the 11 players out there, none of them are any good. None of them are actually trying. I mean, that wee guy that gets sent off, do you know what? I even say, well son, well done, son. At least you actually showed a bit of passion. All right, you get sent off, fair enough. I mean, things like that happen. But there doesn't seem to be any fight. There seems to be no fight in the team at all. And it's frustrating for us fans, because, you want to see your team getting into it. And too often we're pushed off the ball, we're brushed aside, and then the players just stand there, wave their arms and look, instead of shouting at other players. I mean, this is how you get relegated. I've seen this before when we did get relegated last time.
Cammy, you can hear the club well. Listen to the passion and concern in Robert and Simon Beforeham's voices.
Yeah, absolutely. You can hear the concern, and again, it's a club that's close to my heart. So again, as Robert said, they don't want the club to go down, because the last time I felt as if when they went down with Tommy Wright, they had to make the change, and they made a right decision at that time. There's nothing to say they'll make a right decision and be able to bounce straight back up. So it's it's really worrying times when you look at Kilmarnock. What they're doing at this moment in time is they're almost conceding 2 goals a game. They'll not win games of football doing that, so they need to change something. We spoke about the goalkeeping positions being a problem for them this season. Defensively, they've not been strong enough. They've got young Ethan Brown's played today. Robbie Dees, which Robert's mentioned, he's given him a little bit of criticism. I know has been coming in for some criticism. Something needs to change. They need to get results. They're really low in confidence. And yeah, the club's in a real sticky spot at the moment, because as I mentioned before, they're building this training ground. They're having to change, obviously, their pitch back to grass. There's a lot of investment in that, and they've cut back on the playing side. So it's really worrying times for my old club, and you can hear the concern in Robert's voice. Robert, how do you feel about Neil McCann being appointed as a manager?
I have to be honest, I wasn't overly keen, but to be honest with you, you could get Pep Guardiola in that dressing room, and it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference. The players are just not good enough. We've got a guy at 6'7", and they literally can't jump. How is it that nobody can wing? Well, that boy Thompson can throw a ball in quite well, and yet any time he does it, that big guy, he literally can't jump. He could steal the ball over every defender's head, and that big guy should be able to jump 2 foot into there and head the ball towards the goal. Never does it.
more Kilmarnock fans are trying to get through in the phones. Robert's been on, Simon's been on, and still they must be really worried after today. Thanks to Robert, don't take joy from Robert's despair, but the passion that Robert's shown, you can hear it there. On the flip side of that, it was all your fault, Johnny. As a Motherwell fan, you must be in the opposite end of what those guys are feeling today.
I do feel for him. You can feel the hurt in his voice. You don't
have to pretend, Johnny. This is football. It's fine. You're allowed to. You're allowed to sort of dine out on other teams' misfortune.
It's an honest reaction to that. I can feel the hurt in his voice, to be honest. And do you know what? And the best thing for me, again, hello to you all on the panel and all that. But now I feel that now we're back on track to winning this league. When the mighty well, it's, I've been on here saying it a lot of times, and now we're seeing that 40-point mark. Everything's going to go our way, these next couple of games and all that. The so-called top teams, and that we are going to take over.
If Celtic win tomorrow, Motherwell would be 10 points off Hearts.
Yeah, it's not going. Look, I would love to Johnny come on here and say it at the end of the season, I told you so. It'd be brilliant. They're being absolutely great. Look, the confidence is there. 9 games without conceding a goal for Parts, incredible. The crowds are up. Football's great. They're playing brilliant football. They're scoring goals. They're just a little bit short of going and winning that title.
If Hearts win, or if Dundee get something at Ibrox, could you rule them out of just that next conversation, though? Would it be right to talk about a team that's 4 points off?
If the conversation
if that is the case tomorrow,
to summarise, if the conversation is will Motherwell win the league, my answer is not a chance.
Yeah. Listen, I go with that, but I do believe that they're sitting in fourth, and the way they're going, I think they can finish better in fourth.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think they'll win the league.
But
I think
they'll
finish
above Celtic or Rangers.
Yeah.
I do as well.
Wow.
Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the form that they're in, they've beat the big teams. So there's evidence there to say that there's no dropping off in this Motherwell team. I think they're really confident. They've got a great squad. If they can keep all their players in this January transfer window, I genuinely think there's a chance of definitely challenging the old firm of that second and third spot.
They have the money from Lennon Miller. They don't need to sell anyone in this window. If they want to see if they can finish above Celtic and or Rangers, fair enough. They owe it to the manager. They owe it to the fans. But as I say, in summary, if the question is will Motherwell win the league, no, they will not.
They might be cursing Hearts coming out of nowhere and having such a brilliant season, because you would be talking normally about them being not nailed on, but looking really good for third, which would have been excellent.
And do you know the thing I like about Motherwell, just touching on it, I've heard today that some of the players, they're actually stronger now in after the transfer window. They're stronger. They're a stronger team. They're bringing on forward after forward. They've got a good squad. They're playing very well. This manager knows what he's doing. Look, it's got to be a big ask. They've got to keep the clean sheets going, which is a big ask. Of course it is. But when it comes to the split, then I am sure the teams, the other 5 teams, don't look forward to going to Fir Park.
Johnny, if Hearts win tomorrow, would be, what did I say, 13 points?
I've been asked this, I think this is the third or fourth time I've been on here saying, are you going to concede that Motherwell will not win the league? And I still think they will, because, and my reasons are, everybody else thinks that other teams will win the league, and our team's going to win the league.
I can't argue with that logic. If Hearts win tomorrow, they're 13 points. That's massive.
There comes a point where you owe it to your own intelligence.
Celtic might win tomorrow. Celtic are in quite a good place after Bologna the other night. We will see. Thank you to Johnny, who's feeling very optimistic, isn't he? 01419511025. Since we're on the subject of today's football, Kilmarnock fans are going to take some beating for being the most annoyed fan base, but I don't know if the Hibs fans would rival them.
No, I think that's a serious result for David Gray. The cup defeat from Dunfermline was greeted with very loud abuse at East End Park from the travelling fans. This 4-1 to Falkirk. As I say, two things can be true at one time. It is magnificent for Falkirk and for Barney Stewart in particular, and John McGlynn's credentials just grow and grow and grow. However, that's an unacceptably bad defeat for Hibs, and I think the manager is in bother.
Yeah, when you're Hibs and you're expected to be up there with the squad and the amount of money you're spending, I think the Scottish Cup wasn't a great help to him, getting put out of that. And then he goes today, and look, we're talking about Hibs and under pressure. I think all the credit goes to Falkirk. Falkirk are like Motherwell. I think the two most entertaining teams
they're
in the
my
league.
second favourite team for
So,
what it's worth.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Look, I sat here last week and thought there's no way that Falkirk can go to Tynecastle and beat a Hearts team that sit in top of the league, the squad they've got, the way they're going about their business. And I know Cammy, and I think Hugh was the same, said that, yep, they fancied Falkirk. I watched the game, they were terrific. Have a look at, they've now done the double over Hearts and Hibs. So, like Fir Park, nobody likes going to Falkirk Stadium.
I was going to say, I did Barney Stewart a disservice earlier. He only signed for Falkirk 15 months ago. I think I said about 18. Let's narrow it down to give him even more credit. It was 15 months ago. It was October 2024. And prior to that, he'd been playing for Heriot Watt University football. And now he's scoring top flight hat-trick.
That is just an incredible story. We mentioned it during the show before, scoring a hat-trick, top flight, and you've just narrowed it down that it's 15 months ago he's playing university football, which is just incredible. And the story that he's went along, he's obviously been on loan at Dunfermline, and then John McGlynn's brought him back. And as I said before, John McGlynn will take a lot of credit because he coaches his players, he improves the players. So but yeah, just a brilliant story. Touching on Hibs, I think the next few weeks, 2-3 weeks, are massive for Hibs. They play Rangers next weekend at home, so that's a difficult game for David Gray. Then they're at home to Dundee United, and then they've got an Edinburgh derby away to Hearts. So listen, the next few weeks are massive for the future of David Gray, I would say.
Quick quiz: Falkirk's first top flight hat-trick since?
All right, okay.
Simon Steinrod.
No.
I don't even know. You get another answer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kenny Duncan.
No. Nearly 20 years ago, 2007, Alan Gow at Tannadice.
The Gowser.
Strange, this is Scotland's Coefficient tweeted this. It's a great fact because weirdly, 2 days prior to that, how could they have played 2 days in quick succession? Anyway, a couple of days before it, Anthony Stokes did the same for Falkirk. So they had but that was 2007. Wow. So Barney Stewart's in there. Cameron is a Rangers fan to move things on away from the game at Fir Park. Cameron, how are you feeling about things as a Rangers fan?
To be honest, I think I'm actually really happy at the moment, to be honest. At the start of the season, I was like, oh God, what have we got ourselves into? But since Danny Rowe came in, I think we're playing with a passion that was never there before, and a confidence as well.
Well, look, the 7 wins in a row speaks volumes for that. Look, clearly the measurements have changed. Nobody's pretending. We know Rangers teams of old wouldn't have had a big party for winning 7 games in a row.
Yeah.
But as Cameron says, this is mentioned in context. It's about the start of the season.
Yeah.
I saw someone tweeting earlier whinging about Rangers getting credit for winning 7 games in a row. You try to tell me you thought that was possible under Russell Martin?
I think there's a fascinating contrast to be made here. Rangers made a disastrous appointment in Russell Martin and got rid of him and brought in a guy who is Mr. Consistency. But Russell Martin's mistakes were all made early on. 1 win in 8 games at the start of the season. Celtic's problem has been that they brought in a disaster midway through the season, and he has cost them 12 points that Martin Neal's desperately trying to claw back. So Rangers, I always think there's the hand of fate is in this one. They wanted Steven Gerrard, an 11th hour rejection. They wanted to go for the man whose name has gone from my mind. You're about to tell me?
Kevin Muscat,
who 11th hour rejection. They therefore arrived at Danny Rule by accident almost. and it's the luckiest accident I've ever been involved in, because the job that he's doing is terrific. The signings that Rangers are making, they had the two at £7.5 million and another one who cost them £9 million if the option to buy is taken up. So they're spending money, they're stable off the park, they're consistent on the park, and they have the look of a side who'll be in this until the very last day.
It has to continue, Cammy. I know I'm stating the obvious, but they're third tonight. Yep. Now that can change tomorrow, but they're third. And I actually remember these conversations when Russell Martin was in charge, and we would say, right, it's only September. Is Rangers season done? Can they actually salvage anything from this? And the answer was always yes, because there's time, but they'd need to win 10 in a row, 11 in a row, 12 in a row, at which that point people said this Rangers team's not capable of it. But now they need to show that they are. They're still going to need to do that.
Yeah, they need to continue what they're doing. There's no getting away from that. And again, Rangers are clawing back from the poor start to the season, and the new managers came in, and he's had to do that as well by just putting results first, and that's what he's done. Since he's came in the door, he's made sure that Rangers win games of football like he said he would do at the start. He came in and he said the most important thing is winning games of football. He's done that. He's built confidence within the group. He's created a good environment that the players are comfortable in, and that's got results on the pitch. There's a again, next week, you look at tomorrow, it'll be a difficult game. It's one I expect Rangers to go and win, and then they go away to Easter Road next week with a Hibs team that are desperate on a result. So that's a big game. All these challenges are faced with Danny Rowe fronting, going head for it, because he knows that. I genuinely think Rangers have got a real chance of winning the title this season. I really do.
Well, they certainly have. There's no doubt about that. I think that what the caller's right in saying that Rangers are in a very good place. Plus the fact, this transfer window, I think we've all agreed, whoever come out is stronger probably would be favourites to go and win this title. Right now, I know I've not seen them play, but if these three guys can hit the ground running, then they've strengthened the right departments where they wanted to go and get players in. They've done their business in it. They've done their business very well. They're winning games. This manager's got
Can this current Rangers squad win the league, or does it still need a striker?
My concern, I was speaking to Cammy about this, I think goal scorers win your leagues, right? I think that's very easy to say. You look at Chermiti, I think he's got 4. A centre half has got more than you. Fernandes got more than him. He's got 5. You look up the top, Majovski's got 8, 3 against Annan, but still got to put the ball in the back in it. Your right back has got 8. So it's very easy to say they need another striker, but they need to balance the books. They need to balance the squad. They would need to get Danilo out, get a striker in. I think they would be in a great place.
Cameron, any concerns tomorrow? It doesn't sound like it. You expect Rangers to beat Dundee?
Listen, I think it will be a very tough game, because Dundee, don't get me wrong, Dundee are a very good side, but I do believe that we'll go out and win. But listen, like when you go back to the point about the start of the season, when I was watching the games, I was watching it through my fingers half the time. But now it's actually enjoyable football to watch, and I think that's what's appealing to most fans as well.
That's probably the bit that could improve, though, Cammy. Look, it won't matter if they win the league. Nobody's going to say, oh, we didn't play well enough on the eye. But it's probably the bit that could improve, isn't it? That kind of cutting edge, attacking flair, scoring a couple more. I think that's the bit that there's clearly room for improvement.
Yeah, there is room for improvement. There always will be. But what I would say is they're starting to keep clean sheets. They're difficult to beat. And again, listen, I said it before, being at Rangers, you've just got to win games. You've got to win games of football. That's what most important is. Yes, it'd be lovely to play great football and win 5-0. That's what the fans want to see. But ultimately, if the fans go away from the stadium, you've won the game, you've done your job. Because ultimately, we're looking to win a title. So, yeah, I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing. Tomorrow will be a difficult game. Dundee will be hard to beat. And again, they've got threats going forward. So, Rangers just need to nullify them and take their chances when they get them.
Rangers, I like Dundee's recovery, though. I feel for Stephen Presley, what he had to put up with in the court of public opinion at the start, and the results weren't good. But that little run they've gone on, they'd 3 wins in a row. The Hearts game was more about how good and resilient Hearts were, the 10 men and Craig Gordon's wonder save and all that. They then knocked Kilmarnock out the cup the following week. I just wonder if Is there no chance for you that Stephen Presley makes life difficult for Rangers tomorrow?
He's done a marvellous job, Stephen, in winning over a support, and a marvellous job in creating a side who are, for the moment, the big thing for them is that they're 8 points above Kilmarnock. So that'll do, because I'm quite sure that at one point this season the Dundee fans feared relegation. I think there'll be a special atmosphere at Ibrox tomorrow. I think the appearance of Andreas Skov-Olsen will be a big thing for the Rangers supporters.
Rangers have had to sort of appeal for that this week, though. Did you notice that? Almost kind of put out a plea for people to turn up.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there will be a special atmosphere, and I think he'll be a big part of it. And if you have won one of the last 14 league titles, I think for the moment, for this season, performance is an irrelevance. If you win the title and the performance can be looked at through critical eyes, fair enough, you should attend to that next season. But if you've won one of the last 14 titles, performance is an irrelevance. All the fans want is the title.
Okay, thank you to Cameron. 0141 951 1025. Keep the thoughts coming on Ibrox tomorrow. But what about Tynecastle? It has got everything you need to make it one of the most fascinating fixtures of the season. So I'd love to get your thoughts on it, Celtic fans. Physically tired after Bologna, or emotionally boosted by a good result? Let us know what you think will shine through tomorrow. Would you start your new striker, or would you leave him on the bench? Do you think Celtic will win? Is this the Martin O'Neill effect? Hearts side of things? No Lawrence Shankland, no Cammy Devlin, no Benny Beningame. Give us all your thoughts on Tynecastle right now, please, and we'll speak to you next.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of tonight's Clyde One Super Scoreboard, but still lots to get through. We're going to hear from some managers today as well, but it all finished a bit later than normal. And of course, massive games tomorrow. Celtic fans, Hearts fans, right now if you can, 0141 951 1025. How do you see it going? Who's going to win? Injuries for Hearts, tiredness from Celtic, new signings. It has got a bit of everything, Hugh.
Oh yeah, all manner of things with regard to both teams. When 10 men are forced to do the work of 11 in a Europa League tie, so close to the biggest league game of the season, you'd rather not have that kind of disadvantage. When you have to decide whether to play Tomas Cvancara or not, I think you come down on the side of the check and let him see if he can be an unknown quantity that unsettles Hearts, even though he's played no football since November. And for Hearts, it's the acid test. No Shankland, no Devlin, no Beningame. Does that mean no Hearts? So it's the most fascinating game of the season.
It's hard to imagine Shankland, Beningame, Devlin's absence not having any impact on Hearts. I mean, that would just be, it just makes common sense. How damaging do you think? Mark Leonard, we're talking about Cvancara, but would Mark Leonard come straight in and make his debut?
Potentially. Again, obviously, a player that knows the club. Again, it's going to have a huge impact. There's no getting away from it. Cammy Devlin's been one of the players of the seasons for me. I think he's so influential in that Hearts side. The job that he does, he breaks up play, he's excellent on the ball. And then we all know what Lawrence Shankland brings, and has done for a number of seasons now for Hearts. So there's no getting away from it. That is a massive, massive blow for Hearts, and it'll be very interesting to see how they do handle it. And this is the real test tomorrow, that they're without them big players, and they've also got a huge challenge, the team that's just behind them in the league, coming to Tynecastle to try and take 3 points. And can Hearts withstand that pressure? And again, I think if Hearts come away with a draw, I think Derek McInnes would be quietly happy.
It's got to affect you. Right, have a look at Celtic, for instance. They lost 3 big hitters. Look at the squad, look at the players they've got. Affected them for me. If Cameron Carter-Vickers was playing, Johnston was playing and Jota was playing week in, week out, I think it'd be a different Celtic team.
And it should, in theory, be easier for the biggest, richest club to absorb that stuff, rather than, because we talk about, let's be honest, I don't know what odds Hearts would have been at the start of the season to win the league, but they're going to need to carry a little bit of luck, whether that's keeping everybody fit or taking advantage of other things.
And plus the fact, you look at Hearts, and I know they've got some real good players, right? But everybody talks about the spine of the team. 2 centre-backs have been excellent for Hearts. 2 midfield players who are missing tomorrow have been brilliant for Hearts. Braga and Shanklin have been different class scoring goals up front. You're missing one of them. You're missing the captain. You're probably missing your more prolific goal scorer in the club. It is a big ask, but it's up to Hearts to respond to
Gary is in Blantyre. How are you, Gary?
Hi,
Gary,
Gordon.
can you hear us all right?
Yeah, sorry.
Good man, you're fine.
Hi, sorry, Gordon.
Gary, we'll tell you what, let's Gary, is your radio on?
I've just turned it down.
Yeah, good man. Nobody needs to hear me twice, believe me. What are you thinking about tomorrow then as a Celtic fan?
I think that you mentioned there about tiredness and stuff for Celtic. Now, I think that they'd felt more tired had they lost that game the other night. I think the fact they got the result keeps the kind of the resurgence, shall we say, under Martin O'Neill kind of going, keep the kind of feel-good factor. So I think that the difference between losing the game and no losing the game does have an effect, I think, on the tiredness of the kind of physical exertions that they might have felt going into the game tomorrow.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you. However, Gary, you'd rather not have had it.
Yeah, of course we wouldn't. We'd rather know the game on Thursday night. We'd rather have played on Tuesday or Wednesday in the Champions League, but it is what it is. So I think that the confidence levels, I think, with most Celtic fans compared to 2-3 weeks ago, getting into this game potentially with Nancy, it's night and day. And I think obviously the Hearts players being out, being suspended, etc. It's a lot closer than I think it would have been. But I think Celtic will go there and win.
I suppose you could make a case as well that this might be the best psychological place Celtic have been in for one of the games against Hearts, because obviously the defeat that did for Brendan Rodgers, that's when people were just wondering everything, is it unravelling? Everybody knows what the next one was. It was Wilfred Nancy's first game, and tactics boards and green trainers and all the rest of it, the stuff that just got way out of hand. But Martin O'Neill's in charge now, and I'm not saying that guarantees anything, but it must be the best Celtic have felt facing Hearts.
Yeah, listen,
this season.
Absolutely. But again, Gary said it himself. He's got confidence in his team now that they can go to Tynecastle and get a result. And again, you flip that a few months ago, then listen, not a lot of Celtic fans would have believed that if Wilfred Nancy was manager, they would get a result at Tynecastle. Not the way that they were playing, not the tactics that he was going into games with. So it's a different Celtic team that Hearts are going to be facing this time. Again, yes, in an ideal scenario, they wouldn't have played such a long period on Thursday night with 10 men. But as Gary said, it is what it is at the moment. They got the result, so I think just that little bit of confidence they gain. Bologna are a very, very good team. They managed to get a result away from home. So I feel as if they're in a good place to go and face Hearts. And again, we touch on it, Hearts are missing key players. So listen, I feel like Celtic need to go there and get the 3 points, because it will completely swing their season.
Because Gordon, Martin O'Neill, believe it or not, as good as he is, has limits. He can't come in and make this squad instantly as good as it should be. He just can't. He can't come in and fix everything. But what it looks like he's done in both spells, and again most recently, which is the most relevant bit, has brought a bit of belief back, a bit of confidence. You heard that interview Callum McGregor did. In amongst all the tactical stuff about Wilfred Nancy, he was quick to point out that once that happens, the confidence and belief goes, so then it's hard to get it back. Presumably Martin O'Neill's at least taking care of that bit.
Yeah, well, that's his forte, isn't it? That's where he's made his name as a manager. He's never been one of those brilliant coaches that you talk about on the training ground. Martin O'Neill's the old-fashioned man manager, knows when to, have a little bit of a go at you when you need it, knows when to pick you up when you need it. It must be brilliant to work for in the dressing room before you go on that pitch, probably making you feel $1 million, making you feel so confident about yourself. That's Martin O'Neill's strength. I know the guys are talking about it is a difficult one, travelling, 10 men, playing for such a long time. But tomorrow, for me, I don't know if tiredness will come into Gordon, because I think, one, adrenaline. We've all played in these big games. As I say, Tynecastle will be rocking tomorrow. You know the importance of the game as well. You know that the manager will be having your back in that dressing room, letting you know before you go out. I think we're in for a terrific game. It's a very hard game to call.
Martin O'Neill's a cultural phenomenon for me. Even when Celtic are awful, and I give you some Mirren and Paisley, Falkirk, even when they're awful, Martin O'Neill gets them across the line. he for me is without doubt the most important figure at Celtic Park, and I include the principal shareholder and every member of the board. He is the most important figure at Celtic Park.
Thank you very much to Gary. Let's start hearing from some managers. A very angry Neil McCann after losing at Fir Park.
I don't know what Big Yen says there, but I thought we were the better team in the first half. I thought the boys were excellent. Game plan was very clear. Thought we limited them to some counter-attacks. They're always going to be dangerous because of how they play, but I thought we were by far the better side. The goal getting chopped off from Poley is a puzzler, because I've seen an angle, we've got an angle downstairs. I can't see how they can call that as offside. I think it's a guess. I think it's a complete guess. It's gone against us, but that's not what kills us in the game. Peter, to be honest, the red card kills us. Lost a red card last week and lost a poor goal to the game, but the red card to what we suffered at Livingston, Kabongu, where he actually gets 3 and still doesn't get a red card. Tom and 2 tackles. The first one, I'm told, is reckless. If that's reckless, the game's done, completely done. The boys just turned round, and I think maybe just maybe catches him with a boot. I mean, what's he supposed to do? That's worth his first tackle is a yellow card. It's a shocking decision in my opinion. Puts him onto a tightrope, and then his second one, yeah, maybe you've got an argument there of a yellow card, and he shouldn't do it. But the first one is just that's what kills it for the boys, because then you're up against a team who've been flying.
See if I was, because actually forget refs or Willie Collum for a second. See if I was the guy that invented Hawkeye technology, I'd start phoning the managers. It's not a guess. That's not how it works.
No. All of that
it's just not how it works. By the way, second, that's fine. We've all got opinions on yellow cards. That's fine. I said I felt like it's 2 tackles in the middle of the park. Maybe you don't need to send them off. The offside is not a guess. It is not how it works.
That's a man whistling in the dark.
You need to accept the offside for me. Again, it's a factual decision. So again, I think that is, as Hugh said, it's a manager under pressure. Again, you're right with the yellow card. Listen, he mentioned the first one. He says the first one isn't a yellow card in his opinion. The second one, he kind of said, look, it is. So for me, that's a little bit naivety from the player, because if you're on a yellow card that you maybe don't think is a yellow card, you don't go into them challenges, you don't make them decisions that potentially the referee's got to send you off.
See the bit about the angle, right? Said, I've seen an angle where it doesn't look offside.
Yeah.
At the risk of repeating myself so many times, that's why you need the Hawkeye technology.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have it. You would just have people looking at screens and you can't tell from every angle. That's the point.
He just lost 3-0. Point number 1, he comes in and says
3, lost more than that.
4. He's lost 4-0, and he's come in and said at one part of the game they were the better team. Don't say that.
He started strong to it. There's nothing wrong with pointing that out.
The Kelly fans pointed that out, to be fair.
You lost 4-0. And then, the accusation is about VAR. I feel for him. He took on a job that I think that was impossible anyway, and there's no way out. It'll either be automatic relegation or the playoffs. And that, I repeat, those were the words of a man whistling in the dark and trying to find some way, some positivity in a field of negativity.
Well, a manager who does not need to look far for positivity is John McGlynn. We keep talking. He's the man of the moment as well. But Barney Stewart, 15 months ago, he signed for Falkirk. He'd been playing with Heriot Watt before then. He's now scored a top-flight hat-trick. And this is what the manager, John McGlynn, had to say.
Wow. Where he was 13 months ago, we keep on going on about it. But it's true, we took him for Heriot University and he scored a couple of goals for us in the championship. He gets that injury to his metatarsal, which means he's not played for a long time. It was ideal for me to go to Dunfermline, come back, and his personality is amazing. Actually, he's got to see on the right place today to get goals, and that's what we've been missing. We've been putting balls across the face of the goals. It's the way we play. We will always put balls across the face of the goals. Been getting somebody on the end of it, and he's got in between the posts, and his finishing has been really, really good. Yeah, couldn't be happier for him and for everyone involved. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's very difficult going and watching him play for Heriot University and thinking, can he do? Because that's the question that you're asking yourself. But there's really much to lose on it. He'll be probably the lowest paid player in the Premiership right now. There's no betting on that, but if there was, it'd be worthwhile putting a bet on that. I can almost guarantee.
You want to raise rights now?
It's not getting out until it's a new contract.
I don't want to embarrass Barney Stewart and talk about his financial picture, but that's meant to provide some endearment there. He probably is the lowest paid player in the Premiership. It's incredible.
It's an almost ridiculous story. From Heriot-Watt University to hat-trick in the Premiership. And that John's quite right to highlight the fact that he wants him to sign a new contract. And that, as John is the perfect fit for Falkirk, Barney Stewart might be the perfect fit for Falkirk, who are not fighting relegation, they're fighting to get higher up in this league. So, if I were you, Barney, I'd sign.
It's some credit to whoever seen that lad, because I listened to John there, and he's correct. You're standing there watching him playing with Heriot-Watt, and you're thinking, oh, he's a good player. Are you thinking he's got to play in the Premier League against Hibs?
How do you even assess that?
And score a hat-trick?
Because we've seen this before.
Incredible.
Even doing that from, say, Heriot-Watt to maybe League One level, you would still be having those questions. Right, he's good, but look at the opposition and the stakes. Could he go up to League One and do it? Not could he go up to the Premiership?
Yeah, no, listen, it's just incredible. But what I would say, you look at Barney Stewart, he's athletic, he's a physical presence, he's obviously got a great footballing ability as well. And John McGlynn's probably backed himself and said, well, do you know what? And he kind of said that in an interview. What did he have to lose? Offering somebody an opportunity at full-time football, low wages, and he backed himself as a coach as well, that I can make this player better. Listen, probably not within his wildest dreams did he think he was going to score a hat-trick in the Premier League that 13 months later. But again, I think he's weighed it up. It's low risk, and it's absolutely worked for Falkirk and Barney Stewart. It's a fantastic story.
And he's played today against what you would say top defenders, right? There's international defenders in there, and he's scored 3 goals.
Yeah. It's going to be weird for Grant Hanley when he keeps a clean sheet against Brazil to get us through in the World Cup, but he conceded the hat-trick against Barney Stewart.
So that shows you, whoever made that judgment, honestly, it was a brilliant piece of business for him.
Right, come on, Hugh, we're nearly done, so in fact you can give us the final say. You two, your thoughts on tomorrow. Sum it up both games for us.
Looking forward to it. I think it'll be very good indeed. I think Rangers will beat Dundee. I think it'll be difficult, because I'm quite liking what I'm seeing with Dundee. And then you flip over to Hearts Celtic, quite easy for me. I think that will be a draw.
I'm going to go, I think Rangers will win. It will be a difficult game, possibly a 2-0 win, and I think I'm going to go a Celtic win away at Tynecastle.
I think Ibrox will be a formality. Tynecastle will be a fascination. Can the O'Neill phenomenon go on? Can he keep on pulling results out of the hat to try to make up for the disastrous appointment which preceded him? I think that Hearts will overcome the loss of Shankland, Beningame and Devlin. I think Hearts will win.
But that is for tomorrow. Today was all about storylines. Everywhere you looked, high drama. 6 goals for Aberdeen, 2 for Livy, 8 in total. Manager sent off in Davy Martindale, 2 red cards for players, and that was just one of the games. Falkirk, a Barney Stewart hat-trick against Hibs to win 4-1. Motherwell, Tawanda Maswanisi inspired a 4-0 win against Kilmarnock. It has been absolutely sensational. The beauty of Clyde One Super Scoreboard, it doesn't go away for long. Whatever happens in that massive day tomorrow, everyone can reflect on it. 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Andrew McLean and the guys will be back to take you through it all. You won't want to miss it. In the meantime, stay right there. Thanks for joining us today. Much appreciated as always. The GBX is up next.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet. Want to see them leave early? Want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future? Want to hear them agree? And if not, I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.